Harrison here. Just so that you know, James's mic recently died and it isn't working, and we couldn't order one in time, so we had to share one. So James and I's audio is a bit like echoey. So I'm sorry about that, but hopefully it should be still a good episode. You know what I mean? Bye. Alright, hello and welcome back to Role Playing Games. My name is Harrison Hunt and with me is James Clark.
Hurrah, good day to you.
And of course we got Sean Hunt here, and he is here every day for a summer.
Go on then, bringing the noise.
Listen, this is a podcast about role-playing games, and we're now going to talk about what's coming up in today's episode. But before that, let me just say, sorry it's been a while, but for the foreseeable it's going to continue to be sporadic. For details, please see episode 113. We did just sub to the Patreon, obviously, but just remember that it's going to be it's just a little treat that will come out every so often. All right.
So someone has to, if they want to keep up with the law, then they have to.
You got to watch. You got to listen to every episode, but especially 113. And not only that, but do subscribe to the Patreon. That's important. That's really important
because it helps keep the lights on.
We will not make any episodes if you don't. I had two people asking me when the next episode's coming out, so here it is. This is for you.
Those two people.
Yeah, well, that is our peak listeners is two, and sometimes three.
I was sort of banging on Harrison's door. I was like, "Yo, when's the podcast coming?" And James was, he was down. You could see.
Yo, when's the podcast coming? Right, it's pretty whack that we haven't done one for a while, Holmes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just us two. We're just making this for ourselves.
That's right. Yeah, we are the two listeners.
Yeah,
Sean doesn't listen.
No, he hasn't got ears.
Anyway, today we've got feedback, news punch, what you slaying, where we're going to talk about what we've been playing. We've got the main subject, which is going to be Savage Pathfinder ruined RPGs for us.
Aww.
And of course we're going to do electro letters as well. Shall we do some feedback?
Yes.
The feedback side. The feedback side. Yes, bitch. The feedback side. Feedback, bitch. It's the feedback section.
Yeah, we take your comments and read them out. Yeah, feedback, bitch.
So, our last episode was about how to run an RPG setting at school, right? And we've got a message here from Owen Lean. He says, "Dear 3T RPG, I can't help but notice you recently did an episode on how to play a game set in a school, yet mysteriously didn't mention once a Pathfinder... Right, Owen, for starters, right, you're a writer, that's your job, and you can't figure out... Right, and he says, mysteriously you didn't mention once a particular Savage World school setting that have not only played a game of, but have also sitting on a review copy of Fire over 3 years.
He translated it into Chinese, then backwards again.
That's what he's done, Haitian Creole. He says, do you perchance forget Bartington Halls even exists? And if so, is this because despite being sent a free copy on the day it was released, you still haven't fucking read it? With disappointment and lack of surprise, Owen Lean. So, yes, he made a school thing for Savage Worlds called Bartington Halls. It's an adventure / mini setting. It's quite good. I actually did read it, Owen, but we don't talk about bad games on this podcast.
I thought we played it.
No,
yeah, we actually played it too. So we have talked about it on the bloody podcast.
I've done one better. I haven't read it, but I played it.
And Owen calls himself a listener.
We did, and we did talk about it before. You're not a listener, and by the quality of your message here, you're also not a writer. But anyway, yeah, check out Bartington Halls. It is very good, but it's got light elements of classism in there. For example, the poor edge has been renamed to pleb. So that's nice, isn't it?
That's good.
If you can't tell, Owen is destructively middle class. We've got next one comes in from Griffiana. He says, just going to say there was a Troika Magic School supplement called I was going to say Academies. Academies of the Arcane, which promised advice on how to run games set in schools. It really kind of didn't, but just had a ton of cool tables to generate your own super weird Hogwarts. The above episode, which basically suggests to just proceduralise being at a school, is a dope addition to that supplement. Yeah, so check that out. I need to do it again. Academies of the Arcane for Troika. That does sound good, to be fair.
Yeah. It sounds fun that random tables to generate your own weird Hogwarts.
Yeah, and like Troika has a lot of that type of stuff in it, and I think it's probably worth getting because all of the supplemental Troika books I own are all very good. For example, Fungi of the Fire Realms, really good. And Pretty Paleozoic Pals, which adds dinosaurs to Troika, which, why not? That one sounds good, so well done. We've got another one from OM. That's what it looks like, James. That's the name.
It's got an O with a... What's that?
Umlaut.
Umlaut?
Plus AIM. He says, ew, fuck me sideways. That's a bit much, ain't it? You show is the audio equivalent of a car crash, but I'm simply unable to look away. I tell you what is worse than you show is you grammar, mate. So fuck you. But he is our top listener. He's a top 2% fan, and he sent a screenshot that says he's listened for 3,975 minutes.
I think that's... is that...
Maybe.
What is that? What's the platform? Do we know?
Podbean, I think.
Oh, mate, what a beanie and a bump.
So, yeah, sorry about what I just said, and sorry about mispronouncing your name. Thank you very much for listening.
If you could explain how you say your name, what we'll do is we'll re-record this.
I'll just re-record. I'll re-record it with me, but it'll just be me in the background just going, It probably is isn't it?
Maybe.
That's it for feedback. Thank you very much for listening for that amount of time, mate. You've got problems. And, Owen...
Shut up.
Yeah. Should we do some news?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. News punch. Hasbro sells D&D to dystopian Chinese mega corporation, or do they? So there's been rumours flying about regarding the supposed sale of D&D, with a lot of people claiming that D&D, the game, the lifestyle brand, the religion, is being sold by Hasbro. One such rumour is that Hasbro was selling the IP to Larian Studios, who made Baldur's Gate. And this isn't actually true, although personally I would love to see that happen, because Larian Studios have done amazing things with the IP in Baldur's Gate 3, and it should belong to them, but sadly it's not actually happening. And Larian actually came out and said they're not buying it. They couldn't afford it, to be fair.
That's a shame.
Didn't Hasbro...
I've heard really good things.
Didn't Hasbro make like large bucks with D&D last year? So
well, yeah, we're gonna get into that. Actually, they've done very well for themselves, and that is actually the next news. But yeah, so they're probably not selling it. In any case, the other rumor was that mega corporation Tencent would be buying D&D, which is also untrue. But Tencent do own 30% of Larian Studios, so that might be where the wrong speculations came from. In any case, after months of moronic speculation, Hasbro... I just had to check the recording there. Hasbro has come out and said they will not be selling D&D because the property has seen, quote, strong growth in the last year. So they kind of want to hang on to it. But this does lead us, quite rightly, into our next news, like Sean said. And the headline is this: Hasbro lays off 1,000 employees after a strong year of growth. You heard it right. Hasbro has announced that this year it will be sacking 1,000 employees. They haven't done it yet, but they've announced that they're going to do it. So all those poor people that are, trying to work there, hang on to their jobs. But yeah, the stated reason is that they want to save $250 million, which, I can get behind. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but... why? They're going to make less content and then they're likely going to go under.
It's the people that made it what it is now, isn't it?
And they're getting that. But you've got to save that money, you see, because they couldn't possibly.
It's all about the money.
It's
not about the gifts
and the
good times.
It isn't, no. And so I'm right behind this. Take that 1,000 employees. Yeah. How dare you make the most popular version of D&D ever and see record growth? I mean, that is fucking. You're fired.
I know. Could we get in on that 250 mil if we're backing them?
I would love a bit. Yeah, because we're really shouting
we're
out
advocates
here.
of Hasbro gaming.
I don't want all 250, just one. That'd be nice.
One would be nice, yeah.
One.
Maybe they should not make plastic shit then, and then they could save 250 million.
That would help, because the production costs on those really crap transforming D20s that's high.
Yeah.
The CEO of Wizards of the Coast, Chris Dix, I mean, no, his name's Chris Cox, sorry.
Appropriate, yeah.
He did say this. He says, the elimination of these positions will impact many loyal Hasbro employees, and we do not undertake this process lightly. However, the changes are necessary to return our business to a competitive industry-leading position, which it already is, and to provide foundation for future success. Now, it's worth noting, lads,
Isn't it the employees that did that with the foundation?
Very much so, very much so. But they want to be industry leaders, right? And they can't just simply carry on as they were being industry leaders, right? They've got to fire a bunch of people.
To continue being industry leaders.
But you never know. They might actually ask them to apply for their jobs again at lower salaries. So that's very kind of them. But it's worth noting that Chris Cox is on 1.5 million a year plus 9 million in bonuses. And many Wizards of the Coast execs are on 700,000 a year plus ridiculous bonuses. So to protect their employees, what they could have done is take a pay cut, and they still would be living a really succulent life.
Also, lock the suppliers cover, man. Those post-it notes, I'm going to steal.
Well, they like 75p a pack. No fucking about there. So yeah, they could have taken a pay cut, but this blood-sucking cunt, Chris Cox, he'd rather dash the people who made him rich out onto the street. Let's just hope, right? Now, just bear in mind that what I'm about to say is a joke and I don't actually mean it. What if a meteor hit Chris Cox? Would that be good? Yeah. Like, just I don't want anyone else. Don't want anyone else to get hurt.
But I'm just hoping he's in a large field where he's on his own.
That he owns.
And he forgot his dog. He left his dog at home.
But that dog is complicit in the evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah, there are evil dogs.
No,
sure.
We need a meteor to hit him. But when it breaks down like in the Earth's atmosphere, it could be like the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
But as long as it perishes,
as long as it destroys
like
Chris Cox,
like a
as
bullet.
long as he is past his sell-by
he is
date.
completely dead. But yeah. Well, basically, fuck Wizards of the Coast. And you know what recently happened was that we started playing 5e again. Sorry, everyone. I'll get into that. But the point is that I ordered some players' handbooks for you two, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I would say I'm fairly certain that they might be bootleg ones. Because they're slightly different in terms of production to the ones that me and Tobuscus have.
Good.
As one of our players. But that's what I'm saying. Good. If there's ever been a time to pirate Wizards of the Coast stuff, it's right now. Because they're sacking their employees. They're not going to benefit from it anymore. Chris Dix is going to take home a nice £9 million bonus. So fuck him. Pirate the books.
Pirate everything.
Except for our products. Don't pirate our free podcast.
No, only pirate D&D, I'd say, to be honest.
Yes, please do. Please. That is it for news. Wizards of the Coast still cunts. They might win that award again this year, which is good.
Oh, wait, what about that Lego?
Oh, the Lego.
D&D
how did you know
Lego.
about that?
You sent a picture.
Yes, I did. No, here's the thing. I got things slightly wrong. D&D and Lego are partnering up.
Yeah. Lego, one of the largest.
So good. A lot of money coming in there.
Money sucking.
No, in Wizards of the Coast defence, apparently Lego make a lot of money from Lego, right?
Oh, really?
But,
Insane.
I know. It's a very new info. However, what it is when they do a licensing deal with somebody, that person actually doesn't make a lot of money off of it.
Oh.
But yeah, and so they did. And what it was that I thought they'd released a Lego gelatinous cube. And it was literally just one piece. You don't even build it. But it's not. It's part of a bigger set. So that I was wrong. That's why I deleted that from the history here.
That's what it is. Oh, so I have some milk.
I don't have any, bro.
You're a vegan, mate. Should we do some what we've been playing?
Nah. I mean, yeah.
And have one of these. Oi, yeah? What you slaying?
We've got a lot to catch up on. Or are we just going to do some little skippings?
We'll gloss over some stuff. We finished the Phantasy Star campaign.
That was tight.
It was a good laugh. I cut it off short for reasons I will get into in the main subject actually. Stopped playing OSE, and also I tell you what, right? Doing that playtest of the product has made me lose all enthusiasm for the product. So that's nice, isn't it?
Is it why?
That's how it should be, really, because you've been going through it with a fine tooth comb, innit?
Yeah, and usually in any creative product you do, about 50% of the way through, you're going to hate it, right, until the point that you get it actually completed. But we finished the Phantasy Star campaign. It was using the OSE system. I think in retrospect, because we were using a custom setting that I had made, I think I did make it too difficult.
But it was too difficult. But we managed to do such amazing things.
So the second half of the campaign was broadly speaking about reuniting the pieces of a legendary sword for Sean's character Chaz, so they could take down this dark space energy man called Falls.
I think we were like suddenly thrust into some world-ending shit after we wouldn't stop investigating what was going on.
Well, and it was started out as a school campaign.
It was like got dark real quick.
It started out as a school campaign, and that just went down the shitter very, very fast because there was they needed to locate a spaceship to go and fight this guy. And for what it's worth, Phantasy Star is sort of a blend of fantasy and sci-fi, right? The spaceship happened to be the school. That was a cool twist, I thought, that I put in there. And on its first voyage, it got fucked, so there was no more school. So the school part of the campaign just went down the shitter very quickly. That probably was only about 5 episodes in.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I planned out all these lesson schedules. I made a table of 50 random school encounters, like all of this stuff, and basically everyone in the school sort of died.
Yeah.
Well, no, they didn't actually, did they? Because you flew the ship while they were on summer break, so it was just you lot and the janitor that were in.
Yeah.
The head teacher was lurking about as well.
Yeah, and
Scum.
he was a scumbag. But yeah, it was kind of cool. I liked it. I won't dwell too much on it. I mean, one of the things that I sort of realised about old school D&D is that it is very good, but the trouble is that with higher level characters, the mechanical difference only really comes around because of magic items that you have. So when it came to the point where some characters died and they played a new one and they had nothing, it felt kind of dull. Do you know what I mean? And I do like the system, but I think actually I tend to now lean towards the old school OSR games that have done something different. You know what I mean? Like DCC adds in some mechanical complexity with spells and the things that the classes can do and things like this. And same goes for Morkborg as well. Like the amount of different stuff that you can get when rolling a character and the mechanical differences between the monsters is a lot more interesting than OSE, where it is very, very basic, as is stuff like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, Labyrinth Lord, all of this stuff. And yeah, I think it's made that sort of running a full campaign of it did make me fall out of love with OSE. Although it's a very nicely presented thing, I don't think it does enough different to warrant the purchase. And that actually is reflected in the fact that I've recently put it onto some selling groups on Facebook and nobody bloody wants it. So.
See, but the thing is, in terms of the campaign itself, I thought it was fucking great.
I'm glad you liked it.
It was good. I very much enjoyed it.
It's just the system, man. It doesn't excite me like it used to. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe it's a 5-gamer then.
It is a 5-gamer. That's what I think. If you're doing a short campaign and you don't want mechanical complexity, it's a good way to go, I think. But it sort of runs out fairly quickly, I think. Anyway. Next up, we moved on. We've been playing 5e, haven't we? So this has been a lot of fun, and we will get more into depth on this one. It's called D&D Murder City that we've been playing. James, do you want to give the synopsis?
So essentially what's happened is we were all on a train making our way to this city for one reason or another. It wasn't explained. And then suddenly as we arrive in the station, we get portaled into this kind of random plane of existence where there are 12 people standing around in a circle, unable to move. And then there's this this trickster god in the centre saying that we've got 20 days essentially to kill each other. Otherwise, if there's not one sole surviving member of the 12 people standing there, then everyone's going to die anyway. We can't get arrested. No one can find out the rules about the game because otherwise people will just die from a random heart attack.
Yes. So if the game becomes publicly known, then you'll get hit with a magical heart attack that will kill you instantly.
Yeah. So we kind of just been immediately we've just thrown into it, and then it was just like so. It was kind of chaos because I was trying to kill someone immediately because I thought, well, fuck it, I'm just going to go kill someone. And then Sean and Tobuscus, our characters, just ended up deciding to team up, try and figure it out.
When you guys were on the train coming in, everyone sort of gave their reasons for why they were coming to the city. And like you were, James's character Ahmed, he's a dragonborn rogue.
Yes.
And he was escaping a crime where he'd accidentally killed his partner during the crime. Sean's character was looking for his family members. He's an outlander.
Yeah, I've got one final
Cousin or something.
alive family member, and I think it's like my uncle, I think.
Yeah, and then we have the other guy who is a monk called Darfor, who's been sent on a sort of a missionary type expedition from his what do you call it? A monastery. That's what it's called. And he's trying to spread the good word of his monastery, basically. And of course, all of the other contestants of this game, basically, it's a guy called Cyric, who's the god of tricks, and they've got to kill each other within 20 days. So I think you mentioned this. But when they wake up on the train, all the three party members decide to team up until the end, whereupon they'll sort of fight each other to the death, presumably. But there was one other person on the train who was coming here, and somebody was supposed to be meeting her at the train station because she's got a disability. And there's this bloke who's called Kral, who's invented a wheeled chair for her. But of course, when everyone wakes up, she's still sitting on the train because she can't go anywhere. And she's like, well, I suppose I'm out of the game. You might as well kill me now. And James's character's like, yes, I will do it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
And Darfor, the monk, gets in the way. And in the end, they teamed up with her as well. It's this girl called Olivia, who is a herbalist and has been quite helpful. And now James he's gone from wanting to kill her instantly, and now they're in a relationship together. So
It's a really convincing relationship that's unfolded.
it's very, very good. It's good because there's been a lot of moments where you can sort of tell that they like each other, and in fact, she is similarly to James is an assassin as well, but she was doing it for royals using poison and things like this. So they had a lot in common. And then there was a bit where she came to save you while you were in a graveyard, and you had a little kiss, and then she died later on. You revived her, and then when she got revived, they were in the pub and everyone was going to sleep in the common room, and James's character's like, no, I need to go to a private room, please. And well, it's funny, I was thinking about it for the last few days. When you ran upstairs, you were like, this is the best day of my life, see ya. So good.
We should play that bit out though.
No,
because we literally just sort of pulled the curtain on that scene and we're just like, right, that's done.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about actual events that happened between me and Harrison.
It's already got a bit weird because I'm playing her and James is obviously his character.
Yeah.
And it's got a bit. There was a point where they were sort of exchanging some very sweet words, and it was honestly a very nice scene. But I was looking down the whole time, and then
you make eye contact, and I was like,
yeah, because I was like, she said something on the lines of because while she was in the afterlife, time was moving slowly. She was like, I was there for a year, and the only thing I could think about was you. And then I just looked up at James, and it was just like, this is too awkward. But
Every day for a summer.
It's every day for a summer. But yeah, it's been very good. And there's sort of, it's set in a city called Waterdeep, and I kind of wanted it to feel quite alive and things like this. And so there has been instances of people being killed off camera because obviously other contestants are part of the game. There's a boxer called Marco who's a gangster. You tracked him down twice and killed him. He escaped the first time because fucking Darfor the monk used a burning hand scroll in the thickest forest known to man.
I mean, the funny thing was that the previous episode, and I think he forgot, Sean was about to do something with fire, and then all of us talked him down.
It's the best
but
one.
out of nowhere, JT just goes, I am just going to use burning hands, and then it's just like, what are you doing?
Forest was
And he's like, no, trust me, I got this. And then as he did it, I was like, the forest is ablaze. And he
Yeah.
was literally like the shocked Pikachu meme. He was like, what? I'm like, it's a fucking forest. And not only the way
Some magical flames as well.
The way I described it was that because it was basically a part of the city that had been completely run down, and then sort of nature had come back. So it was unexplored forest too. It was thick to the point where you had to cut your way through it. And so it was a nightmare. And that's how one of the contestants managed to escape. But you tracked him down later at a hospital where he tried to surprise attack you guys, and
I nearly died in the fire as well. So.
and he had to come back and save you. He's a fucking idiot. There was what's been quite good about this is that because there's the 20-day time limit. I know there's the rule never split the party, right?
Oh, mate, we do it almost every episode.
Because you're trying to be efficient with time. So every episode we've had 3-way party splits.
But it's amazing. I think it's handled really well, and because we're all basically we know we've got a specific task to do. We're always conscious of ensuring that we meet up like at the end of whatever our tasks are. But it's really nice to go around the table and have all of these completely separate scenes happening at once.
I like it, and because it's a city campaign, it sort of is okay to do that because you can, during the day, more often not move quite safely around on your own.
Yeah, someone's got to gamble as well, you know. I mean,
Yeah, Sean's character, Clarence Bullhorn, the ranger, he's playing a cowboy type ranger, and he's been going into the casino a lot. It's been some of the most tense parts of the game as well because we just literally just playing blackjack, but with the money in game. And there's been a point where you lost all of your money, and then the monk sort of came in like after doing his shit around the city, saw you, was like he was like, don't worry about this, I've got this. And he goes into this casino, sits down, loses all of his money, and there's like, we gotta go. But so they've been doing their separate research type things, and like a good example of this is recently where. So if any player gets arrested during the campaign, so that means you can get caught for any crime, then Cyric, the guy who's doing this murder game, he will kill you with a magically induced heart attack. So basically, I put it in there so that it could be like, if you are going to wantonly murder people, you can't really get caught and do it, right? So that's part of the game.
Yeah, so we can't just run around hacking people up.
And these guys figured out, and I thought, I was waiting for somebody to figure this out, that if you framed somebody for a crime, you could kill them indirectly.
Yeah.
And so they had just killed one of the other contestants who was a heretical cleric of a god called Shah, who's called the Dark Lady, right? And it was this girl. They killed her and they took her Bible, which is contraband. It's illegal to have in the city. And what they did is they planted it in the room of one of the other contestants, and then spread rumours.
Yeah.
And of course, the police eventually found out and arrested her, and she died. And while because James is a rogue, so he's very good at sneaking. So him and the monk, they went and placed the book in this, scoped her out, followed her after work, things like this, and placed the book in her hotel room. And that was pretty amazing. But while this was happening, Sean's character Clarence was investigating one of the other people, this woman called Karen, who was supposed to be checking in at a newspaper when she's a journalist, and she was supposed to be checking in when she arrived in the city, but she hadn't arrived. Turns out that some bandits got her and had said in 25 days they're going to kill her. So that means these guys need to track her down because that's too late. Basically, there's a rule that if there's one sole winner at the end of it, they're the winner. But if there are more than one people alive at the end of the game, everyone will die, basically. So yeah, Sean, you investigated that. That was pretty good. And what was cool was while these guys were doing the Bible planning, Sean was trying to track down one of the bandits, and the bandits put in their note, leave some money under the pier. So Sean, what did you do?
I bought a sack of doorknobs for like 4 silver or something, and then placed it there, and then.
But you also tried to start a rumour, and he was in the south ward of Waterdeep. Now Waterdeep is a pretty accepting place, except for that area, because it's like the shittest area. With the exception of a place called Troll Skull Alley. It's the shittest area in the whole city. And Sean walks into this racist pub and just says, look, I'm gonna let you all know there's gonna be some money under the pier. And of course they're just like, right,
yeah, I was trying to fish out the actual bandits, but then yeah.
But then of course these racists see an outlander come into their pub and they were very rude to you and also just wanted the money now. They're like, just give us the fucking money. You got in a fight. But yeeted one of them over the bar and was just like, right, I'm going, and left.
Yeah, I didn't really have any money. Otherwise, I probably would have given them money.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is that later on, Sean then goes back to the pier and finds a place to hide. And, of course, he sees all these skinheads turn up and go under the pier and take the doorknobs. And it's just fucking doorknobs! Like, they're having a nice time at the pub and suddenly the rumour did get around, and a bandit comes down and sees this empty sack, but you pounce on him like a baboon.
R.I.P. Yeah, I did. But I had to really, because my character, he's not really very worldly, so I really had to act hard. It was quite tough.
It was one of the best scenes, because obviously we had a rule when setting up this campaign, there was no joke characters, right? And Sean originally wanted to play a redneck called, what was it called? It's called like...
Oh, Trail the Wow.
Trail the Wouse.
Wow.
and it was going to be a joke character. And I said to Sean, you can make a character that's cool. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to have a funny concept. And that scene where you threatened that guy, that was where I was like, that's what I mean when I say a cool character. Because that was pretty badass. He pounced and he was punching him. He was going, tell me. And the guy was like, no, don't kill me. He was like, now. And rolls intimidation, fucks him up. And they got the location.
I'm not a very intimidating character, really. But
or in real life.
I had to act.
No,
in real life, I am the boxing skills, mate.
He got floored by a 10-year-old.
Look at Island Boys gets floored like by a 10-year-old. That's Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
But I'm not an island boy. Right.
You got Island Boy physique.
Also, I tried to search for. There was that woman who the reporter woman. So I was trying to look for the newspaper outlet where she works, and I was looking for directions. Nobody would give me directions.
Oh yeah, because he was hitting the streets trying to find where it is she was supposed to, and so he went into the slums and went to see like a slum oracle. And he was there for so long because the guy kept on asking for more and more money for more specific information.
Oh, and he gave him so much.
Sean gave like the rest.
Three or four gold. Wasn't
That's
it?
why he had to go and steal a bag of doorknobs from. You didn't buy them, did you? You stole them.
You stole them.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was? Because I said roll perception. He went to a hardware store and went in the bins out back, and I said roll perception. He critted, and then I made what I think is a very funny joke, and I was like, "They appear to have thrown all these doorknobs out. They must be out of date." Because previously, I definitely wouldn't have said they'd have thrown a bunch of doorknobs into the trash out the back, but it's like you got a 20, you're finding them. And,
So allow the role to make it happen.
Because it was at night as well. I remember him. Do you remember Sean's character went up to the fucking hardware store just on his own in the middle of the night and knocked on the door? Hello? It's like, Sean, they're not fucking open.
You want them, please?
But yeah, he went to see this oracle, and what was funny is that Sean kept on pressing him, and the guy was like, I see a newspaper down the street from here. The guy was basically just a guy who had information, but he packaged it, and he was speaking in this spooky way, and there was a point where Sean was like, can you tell me more? And he was just like, look, come on mate, there's a queue outside. And he's like, what happened to your voice?
And then he basically, after 4 gold, was like, oh yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, he's like, it's over there mate, get out.
Yeah, you can literally see it from a window.
We've got to the point now. So where we are at is that there are two contestants. Other than you three, still alive. Or actually, I guess 3 if you count Olivia, because you resurrected her. That's the lady in the wheelchair.
Yeah. So there's 4 overall.
Yeah, but no, there's
5. Sorry,
6. Because there's you 3. They found the reporter. They saved her from this tomb where the bandits were hiding out. They saved her. They've got Olivia, who's the herbalist. Then there's the 3 of you, and there's only 1 other contestant remaining. So hopefully, the idea is they're going to kill this last guy, and then the 5 of them have this epic showdown where there can only be 1 winner, basically.
Or figure something out.
Yes. The last guy they've got kind of a personal hatred of. He's this bloke called Osar, and he's a cleric of something, but his spells are not spells anyone's ever seen before. One of them is just called hurting, and he'll just think it. You see the word hurting in your brain, and then your insides start to strangle and mangle and things. Pretty cool. But they haven't really got any leads on him yet, except for the fact that their cleric order might be on this island south of Waterdeep, so they're going to try and find him.
But we have also tried to get the police on his trail.
Yes.
There was an incident in town where there was someone being executed for a crime that we committed. So he was definitely innocent, and he was about to have his head lopped off. So we tried to completely dissolve the situation,
save him,
and save him. And I used a new ability that I got in the level up to disguise self, and I disguised myself as this guy called Osar,
but wearing a 10-gallon hat.
Yeah, because.
Well, but you disguised yourself as him, but wearing it. The reason for the 10-gallon hat was pretty funny because Sean's instant thing was he's like, well, this guy's going down for a crime that we committed. And to be fair, what they did was they killed a policeman, and he did deserve it. He really did. He was like an actual monster of a man. But he's on it. But they clearly the police have gone, well, we need a scapegoat for this. We need to teach people a lesson. We haven't found the real guy, so they've picked a guy at random and executed him to say, look, if you fuck the police, this is what happens. the odd thing is that at a certain point in the casino, Sean had met the chief of police, this guy called Pierre Garon. He's one of the leaders of Waterdeep. So they know each other semi-personally now. And as Sean jumps up onto the stage to try and save this innocent man, the guy looks down from the wall. He's quite far away, but he looks down from the city wall and sees Sean. He's like, hang on a minute, you? And Sean's like, a lot of people wear 10-gallon hats in this city. So James, when he disguised himself as Osar to try and frame him, he also put a 10-gallon hat on him as well, just to confuse.
It really did confuse the situation.
It did help. Also, I probably should have sent my baboon up that I got in the level up.
Right, well, let's talk. So just to end the wrap up here, these guys have almost finished this Murder City arc. They've got one more guy to kill before the final showdown, where the party and 2 friends from the game are going to hopefully show down. And that's where we're at. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll get into our thoughts about it in a second. But Sean, when we've got to level 3, right? So Sean's a ranger, and he picked the Beastmaster archetype path, right? And you picked a baboon. And literally every single action Sean did for the first 3 hours of a 4-hour game was the baboon doing it. He was so excited.
You couldn't wait to kill him, though, I think, to be honest.
No, Sean.
You got yourself into that situation. Now, baboons only have 3 hit points, right? And Sean stole it off a circus that was coming into Waterdeep, basically. He loved that baboon. And every single action... But it got really confusing because, you know, in a game, you might say, I do this, and you're talking about your character. But Sean was saying, I do this when he meant the baboon. Instead of saying, my baboon does this, he would go, right, what I'm going to do. And he was describing actions, and I was like, what, Clarence, he was describing very chimp-like, baboon-like actions. And you were like, right, I'm going to bite the rope. And I was like, why don't you use your sword? And he's like, well, I've got like sharp teeth in that, haven't I? And I'm like, use the sword, though. And but it turns out he was talking about the baboon the whole time. It was so confusing.
That happened more than once as well. And Sean actually acted out something.
And we thought his character was doing it.
He
was doing a weird jump, and we were like, "Why is Clarence doing that?" And he was just like, but it turns out, about 5 times during the game, we had to be like, "Sean, just say my baboon, please."
And there was a couple of moments like where we got to a point before he arrived and went, "All right, just to be clear here, is this Clarence or the baboon?" And he was like, "There's a baboon." He's like, well, "Why didn't you say so?"
yeah, so annoying.
I just thought by the baboon-like nature of my actions.
But there was every single, even when it got to, so just for sake of ease, you have the same initiative as the baboon, and even when it got to your turn, every single time it'll be the baboon acting first, not this character that you spent weeks fucking carefully creating, but the baboon, this new baboon that you loved. Anyway, the baboon fucking died. Look, there's a bit of a weird story, but there's this tower that's been walled off by the police in the middle of the city, and there's a very, very high level wizard doing illegal experiments in there. And the reason he's been walled in is because some of the experiments are very dangerous. These guys had to do a heist to break in there to try and get some scrolls of Revivify, because Sean had previously met this wizard. He's called Blackstaff. He met his ghost in a graveyard, and he said, "I've died. I'll give you a reward if you go back to mine and get these scrolls and revive me." So Sean goes back, they all go back to do it, but Sean saw that he was doing experiments on children, innocent people, poor people, things like this, and he wanted to fuck him up. So he hung around for a bit too long trying to think of something to do, and the guy killed your baboon and said, "Fuck off." He used power word kill, and in the description it just says, if a creature is under 100 hit points, it dies. And of course your baboon had 3. So
it exploded.
You don't get a save if you're under 100 hit points.
And then I was like, alright, I'm leaving,
Yeah. So you're going to try and find the new animal next session?
Yeah.
What are you aiming for, do you think?
Well, I think flying snake would be good, or giant weasel.
Giant weasel would be sick.
But I'm going to do a D6 because it's very hard to pick out of all the animals.
When I was listing, I just read the list of animals you could possibly have. You have to find one, obviously. That's the hard thing, because I think your first protocol was a pterodactyl, but there are very few of those around Waterdeep.
Yeah.
But what was it? I was going down the list, and it was like python, flying snake, bat, and Sean was going, like he wanted every single one. Slug, no. But yeah, so what do you guys think of it, James? Has it been fun so far?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're quite fortunate with the group that we've got, that we've played together for so long, that we've got really good chemistry, especially as this kind of trio as well. And I think that the campaign itself is, it is a good... it feels like something that already exist in other things, like, I must kill each other, otherwise you're going to, by a certain time limit, otherwise you're going to die. But it's fun exploring it in such a like a hazardous environment.
Yeah, because Waterdeep is full of crime, bad people, even the police are corrupt. And you guys have been exploring and things like this, but also, yeah, I've enjoyed it. What I wanted to do was get away from world-ending plots for a change and just make it about the characters.
Well, I like the fact that there's so many sort of little snippets of other characters. For instance, one of the character that we planted the Bible on to get killed by being arrested, she had her own complete own story, and she was working in a shop, and that shop owner had his own story. So it was like there's so many different levels of it already that you can get invested into other NPCs' happenings.
Yeah, because I didn't bring that up solely because that character's name was Abella, and she was a mechanic that had come to the city to make cannons for the Navy, basically. And but I didn't get into it because that was a whole sort of sub-arc within the thing where you guys had made a bad impression. She came with you because she heard about one of the other contestants murdering a child. Then one of the other child contestants, you murdered her while she was trying to destroy you.
Yeah.
So Abella left, and then you guys, Sean's bow broke, and he tried to get her to fix it, despite the fact she was like, I said no child killing, and you've just killed a child. And this massive, like, crazy fight ensued where there was a fishmonger's stall that got involved, and he was really angry and it was causing distractions. The blacksmith poured grease on the floor and Sean was slipping around in it while trying to steal a bow, and like it was like this crazy fucking Jackie Chan style fight with all this shit going on. It was a hell of fun.
Yeah, but that's great.
But Sean, do you like it? Is it nice?
I do like it. It's very good, very very D&D, very enjoyable. Plus, I sort of like the fact that we're sort of doing like Fear and Hunger 2, really, but we get to do it our own way.
I sort of based it a little bit on a video game called Fear and Hunger 2, which is, broadly speaking, a similar concept. It's a trickster god who's made these people have to kill each other in this city, but they have 3 days to do it, which is not a lot of time. And the city is like a post-war Germany, kind of, although it's a fictional place. So it's much more fucked up. Waterdeep is just a normal city, but yeah, it's kind of based on that, and also all of the characters are from that game. Just because the artwork is very cool, and I printed out the artwork and put each person's name on it so they can keep a track of who's dead and who's alive. So I always have it on the front of my DM screen, and we've been crossing off the faces of the other contestants as they die. So yeah, it's been good fun, and I tell you what, it's been good getting into a game where it's about characters and not some world-ending thing, and also city-based thing, which we haven't done for fucking ages, which I don't know, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's also your guys' characters that are making it quite as good as it is. I mean, they're just fucking great. Especially, I was trying to find Dragonborn Rogue Mini, and I literally could not find one. I think it's an archetype that doesn't get played very often.
It's cool.
It's great because
really
you can
cool.
spit acid in people's faces.
Yeah. I chose the path of the green dragon, so I'm green and I can spit poison. Is it poison? No, acid. I spit acid. So.
Yeah, and it's in a cone template, so it's fucking great. Well powerful. Yeah, that's it. We'll stop talking about D&D 5e Murder City. I just wanted to speak quickly about the stuff that we've bought recently. I've been enjoying 5e recently, so I've got the Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse box set. Mate, Sean's
sexy.
loving this. Look at him. He can't wait to see it.
I've forgotten you bought this, to be honest.
Well, look, there was a point in our game where I thought you were all going to die, and I thought about running this.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, it comes with its own GM screen, right? Which has got like all of the gate towns and all of this stuff. So, Planescape is, for want of you can pass that stuff over, but it's for want of a better word, about the afterlife and where the gods live in D&D. Basically, it's a very very cool setting, and it's been a while since we've had anything new published for it. But what it comes with, so we've got an adventure there that James is holding. It's called Morte's Planar Parade. I think that's the one. Yeah. No, Turn of Fortune's Wheel is the adventure. Planar Parade is got creatures in it, and then you've got a gazetteer called Sigil and the Outlands, which is all about the actual setting. Now, what's cool about the adventure, and what I want to do is eventually actually run it. Sean, we'll pass you some of these books in a minute. Sean really wants to look at them, and you can give your thoughts on how they look. But the adventure appears to be inspired by Planescape Torment the game, and it has you guys wake up in the mortuary on Sigil without any of your memories. So the idea is, and what's fucking great about this, is you start in the mortuary on a slab, dead without any memories, and you wake up, right?
That's quite good.
And
I like the fact that you start with no memories.
So you don't really make a backstory, but you choose how to play your character from the get-go, and as the adventure goes on, you unlock memories. And what's cool about this is you can make it so that your character unlocks memories that are uncomfortable. So you might, for example... Sean's just pointing to a picture of a bear in the book. You might make a character who is a really nice person when they wake up, but they discover that they were a terrible person in their real life, that they maybe committed a genocide or treated people badly or whatever. So you're kind of making this like almost two characters. You are who you are when you wake up, but also your past may be completely different to how you act now because you've got amnesia. It's fucking great.
So you got all the different planar and influences.
Planar, but yes, yeah. It's great, and so that's on the GM screen as well. Where because there's a plane, well, it's not a plane, but like an area in Planescape. Yeah, I guess they are planes, but they're dedicated to each alignment, each god, things like this. And as one alignment's area starts to veer towards another, those two areas will become closer to each other, and so there might appear more gates where you can get to other places.
There's a shame though that you can't.
Map.
The ooze isn't a playable character, but
that is a real shame. That is. But yeah, it's a beautiful box set, and it was on sale.
It's amazing. Sorry,
it's beautiful, isn't it? And it's like the treatment that Planescape has deserved for a long while.
Whoa!
So James, that is a map of Sigil that you're holding there. Sigil is at the top of an infinite spire. It's this ring city that basically is the central hub for all of Planescape. It's shaped like a ring, and there's the outside and the inside, which is why the map is like that.
And they've 3D'd the map.
Yeah, it's fucking cool, man.
There's even a part in the book where it explains how to use the map as well.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? Like I've had trouble in the past running a Planescape game because it is such a complicated. Yeah, Sean, look at this. This is the Outlands map as well.
That's incredible.
It's fucking beautiful.
Sheesh. Oh, whoa.
But I've had trouble in the past reading it because it's such a complex setting. But I think Planescape Torment onboards characters in a way where they can learn about the setting as they play. And the way that the adventure's done, where you regain your memories as you go, is a much, much better introduction into the actual setting. And I think that this could be the most playable version of Planescape yet. I hope so, anyway. But obviously,
it looks amazing, definitely.
It's a lot of Hasbro sort of plugs.
Oh yeah. Got a lot of advertising in there.
But it's beautiful.
No,
it is.
The layout, they have invested a lot of time and effort into it, I think.
Yeah.
It's given the treatment it deserves, man. It's probably my favourite setting that I've barely played. So, yeah, really fucking nice. Now, I was going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 as well, because I've since completed it since the last one. Baldur's Gate. I won't go too on about it, because everyone's already heard everything there is to hear, but it is fucking incredible. It's a masterpiece and one of the greatest games I've ever played. And actually, it was that made me want to run 5e, because the previous Baldur's Gate games were run on the D&D 2.5 engine, and Baldur's Gate uses 5e. And I know 5e can be overly complicated and the characters have a million abilities, but what it did teach me is that if the players know what their characters can do and they're each up to date with auditing their characters, the game can run very smoothly, which is why I got you both a player's handbook, and why I just said at the beginning of the game, if you don't remember you've got an ability and you don't use it, that's up to you. End of story. I'll keep the game running smoothly, but it also taught me that I was like, when I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, I was like, this system is fucking good and I need to play more of it.
The thing was that I found, having not played any of them, is the fact that you said what Baldur's Gate 3 did in terms of some D&D mechanics is they ironed out some of the flaws.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, there's a lot in there which is very mildly different, but in good ways, basically. And of course, there's some things they had to change because it's a video game and it doesn't work quite the same. But yeah, it's worth a play, and it is brilliant. And what it shows is that the D&D lore is good in the right hands. Where Wizards of the Coast have sanitized it more. Baldur's Gate 3 has got very adult themes and adult things that happen. I mean, the whole plot of it is basically that it's about mind flayers. You wake up on a mind flayer sort of planar spaceship, and this massive slug leech thing goes into your eye and latches onto your brain, and you're slowly becoming part mind flayer. So you have to spend the whole game trying to find a cure for it, and it gets to ridiculous degrees of of epic, basically. But that's what happens when you let Tencent give you shitloads of cash. What are you going to say, Sean?
No, I was going to say I have wish listed it, but because they're so popular, I guess they haven't really needed to put it on a special yet at all.
I don't think it will be for a long time.
I think when the DLC comes out, you'll be able to buy it as a special with the DLC. I think that's what will happen.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's spectacular. I did see recently, though, on GDQ, the speedrunning event, somebody's speedrunning Baldur's Gate 3, and they did it in 4 hours, something like this. What? It took me 86 hours.
And you don't... Actually, no, this is one that... I remember you saying that, because so typically I know that your play style is just play it and get to the end, and then if you feel it deserves it, you'll play it again and do some extra bits.
Yeah.
Whereas Baldur's Gate 3, you actually got wrapped up in all of the other
so
bits
much
that's going on.
But even
naturally.
Even on Reddit, I've seen people saying 86 hours, that's a casual playthrough. I did all the side quests that came up. So
it's still casual then?
Yeah. But people are like, I've got 300 hours, I did everything. And it's like, I thought I did everything that came up in my path, and it still took me that long. But yeah, good game. But anyway, the speedrun, what people do is they pick a druid, transform into a bear, and jump on things. That's it. That's the main strat. And they were like...
That must be such a horrible time to play.
But there were... Yeah, well, that's speedrunning for you, isn't it? But one of the hardest bosses in the game... Actually, this is a little bit of a brag, but I did manage to kill him without ever taking damage or getting caught, which was fucking amazing. But this person... It was another really hard boss in the game. This person transforms into a bear, jumps on them, and one-shots them. And I was like... This took me a week to finish. And it was it makes me feel like shit seeing that stuff. But yeah, it's very good. And I think that it might reignite the joy of 5e for some people as well. But yeah, that's
definitely did for you.
100%.
Are you still playing Disco Elysium?
I am. Very much love that. I'd say any RPG player needs to play Disco Elysium. It's fucking amazing. I mean, it's a role-playing game, a computer role-playing game, but it doesn't have any combat in it. But there are still role-playing elements. But I was just telling Sean the other day, there's this bit where you have to call you're a policeman, and you have to call your station and let them know that you've lost your badge. And everyone in the background is fucking laughing at your guy. And it's one of the funniest things, because you pick what you say. And I picked, some guy's like, did he ask him if he lose his gun as well? And my character's like, tell him I fucked his mother. He's talking to this really bored dispatcher. And the dispatcher's like, he says he sodomized your mother. It's so fucking good, man. What a game. Right, anyway, we must get on to the main subject. We've been talking for ages.
Main subject, magic. Main subject, Tokyo. Main subject.
Sean's going for a piss.
He's a cunt, mate. You're fucking always taking too long.
Always...
we've actually been sitting here for at least 5 minutes.
15.
Yeah. It's just taking the piss, literally.
He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking piece of shit. And
imagine if you forgot to edit this out.
To be honest, we've been trying to push him out of the podcast for a while, and he just won't fucking leave. We didn't even invite him today. I don't know how he thought we were doing this.
And he's been pissing for 23 minutes.
Yeah, it's fucking pissing me off. Hey, Sean! How's it going, my guy?
What the hell?
What's up, man?
Sean, you can leave all that.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Sean, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
What?
Taking a leak.
Alright, so main subject. Today we're going to be talking about Savage Pathfinder, which is actually called Pathfinder for Savage Worlds. But
Yummy!
I'm not calling it that. A bizarre, unexpected mix between our favourite system, Savage Worlds, and Pathfinder, our former go-to game. And we're going to talk about how the things that Savage Pathfinder is doing basically sort of ruined RPGs for me. But I've called the episode "It Ruined RPGs for Us" because it sounds more dramatic.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
But you're our main GM, so technically yes.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Sean doesn't like that. We've been sharing the GM responsibility more and more, but over time, I've done more games.
If you take the 8 years,
I've done more
which
games.
it will be this year, then yeah.
I've done more.
9 years, right?
No, it'll be 8, mate. But we start at the 9th.
Yeah. I'll explain in the course of this main subject why it ruined RPGs for me, but functionally, we're going to be given a brief overview of Savage Pathfinder and how it came to be before looking at the actual product, and then I'm going to explain why the words and pictures written inside the book have permanently damaged my relationship with role-playing games. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Now, before we begin, CJ, a very generous listener, sent us the Savage Pathfinder books. You got a whole suite of them that were out at that time, didn't he? He sent those to you, didn't he, Sean?
He
said,
did.
You're going to love this. Have this. You wanted to run a fantasy campaign, so he sent it. Very, very kind of him. And this was bloody ages ago, right?
About 2 years. 2 years.
Right.
Ago.
And he said that he couldn't wait to hear what you were going to say about it, your experience of it. And there's been a review in the works for all this time. You told him.
Have been turning,
shut up. You told him on the Discord that
you type in as well.
That you were going to review this bloody product. Where's the review, Sean? It's been 2 years.
I originally did write a review, and then
I lost my
life.
I lost to the Google Doc.
Baboon sort of ate it.
Yeah, and so you were at least supposed to give your thoughts on it, right? And if not, produce a full episode. But what actually happened was, if you recall, there was a point where CJ sent in a message, and he was like, are you enjoying Savage Pathfinder? But that was the time when you took antibiotics and drank while you were on the podcast, and you got really ill. And I said, what do you think of what CJ sent you? And you said, it's really good. I'm going to be sick. Do you remember that? That is insane. This guy has gone to great expense to send us some stuff. No, don't. That's what you did.
Don't put that.
He got absolutely fucked.
No, don't paint it in that light, because
I'll just play the fucking clip if you want. That's what happened.
Don't play the clip, but that's what happened, right? But I've loved it, and you're gonna find out throughout this.
My thoughts, because you can be bothered, so I've had to write this review.
No, but I did write a review.
You destroyed my carpet.
No, but I did. Look, man. Look, let's not.
You destroyed my carpet.
Let's not get into.
It was Sean's birthday. Somebody handed him a sparkler. He went, yay, and dropped it, made a weird noise, and he burnt my carpet. Look, I can see it right now. I can see the burn.
Yeah, but that's besides the point, isn't it? Like,
it is, but this is sort of why you burnt my carpet.
You can't get it now.
So, Savage Pathfinder. First, let's talk about Savage Worlds. It's become our favourite system for many reasons. And if you want to know how, and have a more in-depth review of how it works, listen to our episode on Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. But broadly speaking, Savage Worlds is usually about action-heavy games with cinematic influences. It uses a dice chain mechanic for character stats, with larger dice being rolled for skills and attributes that the character is strong in. It uses a simple resolution mechanic for just about everything in the game. Beat a 4 and you succeed. Now, the GM can add modifiers to dice rolls, but more or less you're always trying to beat a 4. Raises occur when you beat the target number by a further 4 points, and these can theoretically be infinite for most things. Part of this is due to aces or exploding dice, where any roll that hits the highest number on the dice gets rolled again, then added together. This can result in some very quick deaths on damage or attack rolls, or cool as fuck successes on other rolls. Now, that in and of itself is very fun, but over my years of playing, I've been trying to understand what makes Savage Worlds so great. And of course, the simple resolution mechanic and the myriad ways the system builds off of that are fucking amazing. But, better than any game I've ever experienced, character growth is perhaps the single most important and impactful thing that Savage Worlds does. You see, in this game, you advance in ranks, which grant access to new abilities, but to increase rank, you have to gain advancements towards the next rank. And with each advancement, you can pick a number of things: a stat increase, an ability increase, or an edge. So edging, like a mad cunt, basically. While mostly all using that central mechanic are very significant ways to alter the way your character plays. For example, an arcane background allowing you to use powers, or a combat edge like First Strike allowing you to make a free attack on anyone who enters melee with you, or Frenzy, which works a little bit like Barbarian's Rage. And these choices you make as characters level up mean that there's a million ways to build an interesting character, and you aren't confined to simple archetypes. And perhaps more importantly, these changes you make to your character are mostly mechanically meaningful. Now, I'm obviously oversimplifying it, but at its very core, that's what makes Savage Worlds very fun. It's quick, deadly, mechanically interesting, without said mechanics weighing down the game. Would you agree with that?
I think that was put perfectly, to be honest. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Good. Sean?
Yeah,
You basically agree with everything I've just said?
I couldn't put it better myself,
That's
to
deep
be
cut.
honest. And if I did try and put it better, I'd probably make it worse.
No,
so.
do try and put it better right now.
Yeah, go on.
No, because I wanted to add some specific stuff about Pathfinder, but
That wasn't what we
Well,
were
we're
talking
talking
about.
about, we're talking about Savage Worlds.
We're getting there. The caboose is running, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Pathfinder, on the other hand, could really be thought of as the mechanical antithesis to Savage Worlds. It's a game that I have very fond memories of, but one that we've moved away from over the years because it suffers from a lot of what I call rules flab.
Yeah.
What, Savage Worlds?
No.
Pathfinder, fucking listen!
Oh, okay.
See, I told you he doesn't have ears.
That mate.
I burned my foot! We're talking about Pathfinder now, Sean, because Savage Pathfinder, I don't know if you know this, right? I did say this early on, but
Savage Worlds
and
Pathfinder.
exactly.
What a combo.
What a combo. But yeah, I like to give you the rundown of Pathfinder. It came out during the D&D 4E period, and when 4E changed to too much and alienated its core audience, Pathfinder came out and it was just a minor upgrade to 3.5 with some rules clarifications / expansions and canonising certain rules from supplementary 3.5 books. But what Pathfinder did in its day was give D&D fans more of what they wanted rather than trying to reinvent D&D in the way that 4E did. And this meant that Paizo, the game's publisher, enjoyed huge success with their first edition. Now, however, Pathfinder isn't what it once used to be, because when 5e came out, all the spurned 4e haters just went back to D&D because 5e was good again. So Pathfinder 2e, right, simply didn't sell very good, forcing Paizo to reduce its staff and settle into a mid-tier level publishing company. And this same territory that they're in, it should be said, is inhabited by Pinnacle, the publishing group behind Savage Worlds. Now, considering this, in January 2021, when Pathfinder for Savage Worlds was announced, I originally found it quite amusing that Paizo, who had once been king shit of Fuck Mountain, were now slumming it with Shane Hensley and all his little goblins over at Pinnacle.
Slumming it? Savage Worlds is...
No, it's big. It's bigger now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But you have to remember...
At the time,
seeing Pathfinder, who were the biggest guys...
Was that before Suede as well?
This was... So Pathfinder is a Suede thing.
Ah.
So it was just as, Pinnacle and that were getting bigger, but they were still mid-tier. And in Pathfinder, that would, at the time, when they were big, they were basically D&D at the time. Do you know what I mean? They were that fucking big. And then they're having to slum it with Pinnacle. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I recall every convention that we went to, Paizo were the ones taking up the most room.
Yeah, their Pathfinder Adventure League, like the amount of products on there. The fact that basically if you wanted to publish a setting for Pathfinder, it was like guaranteed a little bit of cash, you know what I mean? Like how 5e is now. Do you know
There were
what I mean?
like 8 different games of Pathfinder
So
going on.
you can see how it's a bit funny when they sort of partnered up with Pinnacle, whose main thing at the time was like, this famous property, here's the other thing that guy did. Like Solomon, they didn't do Conan, but they did Solomon Kane. They didn't do Star Wars, but Flash Gordon, we got that. And it was all and the Goon. Do you know what I mean? Like Pinnacle, Paizo were once the biggest guys, and then they were partnering with the guys who made the Goon. Do you know what I mean? That is funny.
Because Savage Worlds don't typically have their own stalls at conventions.
No, they do not. And also my initial thought, I have to say, when I heard about Savage Pathfinder was that it was pointless, because I've played many fantasy games in Savage Worlds, and while it caters for more gritty, less heroic level fantasy than Pathfinder's brand, it can do high fantasy, and very well, with more character depth and customization than Pathfinder has ever had, and does it without taking a half an hour to take every fucking turn.
They to be honest, with Savage Worlds as well, they've never really found their footing into really good high fantasy, even with like the fantasy companion that they the original fantasy
should be
companion.
noted that they had Shinetar, which was supposed to be their high level thing, but it suffered from a lot of problems, the least of which being that from I think it was novice to veteran was one book, and then the rest of it was a different book. Although Shinetar also was a third-party published product, and it was written by Sean Patrick Fannin, famous paedophile.
Yeah, so don't buy that at all.
So, that's a problem, isn't it? Because if you run Shine Tar at a convention, you're expressly sort of saying, I don't really mind.
He's done his time. Yeah.
Bear in mind, though, when Shine Tar did first come out, at the time, Sean Patrick Fannin was just kind of seen as just a nice bloke that had an ice cream van that would hang out around schools, I don't think he was a paedophile. He was a rapist, but I don't know about he probably is.
He was a sexual predator.
Yeah, that's right. And not like a cool one, like Michael Jackson, but like a rubbish one, like him.
Right, how'd you get... okay.
But Michael Jackson's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
Let him have a couple.
Was.
Yeah.
Is, maybe, because he's coming back, isn't he?
I did find it, and this is just me regurgitating someone else's joke here, but Dave Chappelle, when he was talking about Michael Jackson, he said, look, I'm not a paedophile, but Macaulay Culkin. You know what I mean? Now...
Sorry, can do either of you believe about Michael Jackson coming back?
This isn't the part of the podcast, mate.
Michael Jackson being what?
He's coming back, isn't he?
What are you talking about?
Apparently Jacko's been alive this whole time and he's coming back, isn't he?
Fucking conspiracy theory with Sean.
Right, we'll get back to the thing, but Sean, that's your conspiracy corner over. That's the worst one yet.
Okay.
But one time Sean, I was in a different room in our flat. Sean came running in and he went, Harrison, they found a video of Tupac. He's still alive.
Oh.
Right, and it's this guy, and he's like sort of round the corner in like an alleyway, and he goes, guys, you got to come here. I've seen this. Suddenly, like a static effect. Then it cuts to some footage of Tupac from the 90s, which was clearly a different quality. And Sean is fucking dying here of embarrassment, by the way. And Sean was like, I was like, Sean, you could see where they didn't even try to hide the jumper cut. Fuck, man. That was a bad one. Now, listeners will know, right? I couldn't have been more wrong about my perceived notion that Pathfinder was pointless. But Savage Pathfinder is an absolute hungry man's dinner of a game, and it somehow manages to be everything great about Pathfinder-type fantasy and Savage Worlds at the same time. Now, it's not perfect, right? And some of the reader mail we'll get into later. We'll get into that. But let's get into the book, and I'll talk about how it manages to succeed, and of course some things it could have done better, and then I'll tell you how it broke my literal soul. First off the bat, of course, we're going to say the art is very nice, right? There's no... how do I stop that from... No, oh, there we go. Right, the art is very nice, and it always has been for Pathfinder, if a tiny bit soulless, but looks-wise, it's a very nice product, and Savage Worlds has had a mixed success in the past with the quality of their products, but Paizo... never have, and it's just nice to see the Paizo level of polish applied here. Additionally, another thing I noticed right away, most Savage Worlds settings require the GM to have the core Savage Worlds book and the setting book, but this one's both, so it includes all the rules too, which is pretty nice.
That's unheard of.
That's one of the best things about it.
It's
really
something they used to do, where Solomon Kane was released with the entire system in it as well, and Flash Gordon was another one as well, but they don't, typically they don't do that. And I won't go too in depth on the rules because I don't want to bore the listeners. But Savage Pathfinder does make a few changes. So the characters in Savage Worlds games are usually classless, proper cunts. No, and that is part of the fun. But Savage Pathfinder introduces new class edges to kind of emulate the party role dynamic that is seen in classic fantasy games.
So you got like not only like ancestry / race edges, but you've got like class edges as well. So when you level up from novice to seasoned, you'll get like a new class edge or and a race edge.
Well, yeah, and it's
let alone the edges. Sorry, man. Let alone the edges you get from like joining orders and shit, where you can get like new magic and all this. And it's crazy, man.
It is good, and all of the edges you get from your class are free. And basically, you gain these as extras in addition to your normal leveling up. So that's a big part of it.
It kind of builds out such a big character. So the leveling up in Savage Pathfinder makes it feel like Pathfinder because of all of the, the amount of sort of stats that you have to get through. But it just gives you a really large ability to do extra really cool shit.
Absolutely. And I think it's pretty fucking great. And these are, as I said, additions that you get in addition to your normal leveling up. So you have these much more mechanically dense characters. And to give an example, let's examine the Savage Pathfinder version of a bard. So to be one, you need to have a spirit of D6 and at least D4 in performance, right? So you need to spend your points of character creation to do that. And they start with the Bard Arcane Background Edge for free, giving them access to 3 Bard powers and 10 power points with which to use those powers. But they also start with an Armor Interference, which as far as I know isn't a thing in Savage Worlds games. You can wear a big fuck-off suit of armor usually in Savage Worlds and still cast spells. But here Bards are restricted to light armor. Additionally, Bards can use their sharp-tongued edge to initiate performance-based taunt at any time they want during combat, and they can do it without restrictions. Usually in Savage Worlds, repeated taunts become less effective, but not for bards. So you can distract an enemy or make them vulnerable, or if your dice explode enough, even shake them, making them easier to damage. And they may lose a turn as well. So this is the thing that bards start with, and they can do it theoretically every turn. That's their brand new class edge just for bards that they get, and it fundamentally changes how taunts work, but also you've got a role. If you're a non-combat bard, you've got something where you can really help the party.
I feel like
you're singing mad songs about people.
I think it also plays to the strength of what the essence of the bard is, and that's what they've done for all of the different archetypes.
Absolutely, and they've kept it within that Savage Worlds system to where it's easy to know what it is. Instead of going, here's this new mechanic, it's just like, no, you can do unlimited taunt rolls. Simple as that.
You could do that over and over again, and it just makes complete sense.
It's a very fun way of doing a bard, and it's edges like these that can make a pacifist or non-combat focused characters really fucking useful. And I did that a little bit with one of my characters, T-Bearer, who was a torchbearer. He was mostly non-combat, and he did like loads of other little things like tricks and things like this. Hella fun, very, very good. And but starting with a free arcane background and the sharp-tongued shit in addition to your usual shit is incredibly powerful for a Savage Worlds character. So in building up the classes in this way, you're already starting off a novice character at a much more capable level with a lot more mechanical usefulness than a Savage Worlds novice character, like a usual one. Novice is the starter rank in Savage Worlds, by the way. Just to give another quicker example, let's say we're making a monk, right? Because this is what I played when we played this game. I'll start with Stunning Fist, right? So that I just get that for free. And I can make an enemy distracted or vulnerable if I hit them with a raise on an unarmed strike. I can just do that as many times. And if you're typically going to be using unarmed strike, so that is fucking awesome. And I have an upgraded unarmed attack from the get-go, so I can even upgrade that further by adding martial artist, brawler, things like this. But you start with an upgraded one to begin with. And let's say, in addition, right, I play a human, so I get two edges to begin with. So I could also take First Strike and Sweep also. So not only can I get an attack on every adjacent foe at -2, but if I get a raise, I can distract them or make them vulnerable. And once around, when someone steps near me, I get a free attack, and I'm doing Strength plus D4 with each attack too. So like already starting off, instead of being like, what does your character do? Oh, I've got a lamb. It's like this guy's got 4 very mechanically deep edges that he can use.
It allows you to combat the Pathfinder crunch with the Savage Worlds
smoothness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's got the perfect amount of crunch, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's not too bad because higher level Savage Worlds characters do a lot of shit, but this is like you just start. It's 4 edges, and your character's got all these cool little mechanical things, but they all apply to rules already in the game. Do you know what I mean? Now, this is a wild amount of cool shit for a starting Savage Worlds character, and that's just one build example, right?
And then you've got like the customization of Savage Worlds. So if you wanted to be a monk, but then you decide maybe you want like another arcane background, you could just.
Well, arcane backgrounds, they have to be done at the start. But you could, in theory, earn one via gameplay. But you could also, if you decide that you like all the monk shit, like the unarmed attack, you get your free unarmed attack and things like this. But what you wanted to do was wield a massive sword and take trademark weapon between novice and seasoned. You could do that. And like loads of things like that are present within the game, to where you still got that customization in between the levels, but it's just here's how your character fits into this class at the big milestones. That's it. But other than that, you build them however the fuck you want. I mean, obviously you can't use certain types of armor with certain characters, but it doesn't restrict you too much, because I could still go, I'm going to play a wizard, but instead of upgrading my spellcasting between levels, I'll stick with what I've got because I like it, but I'm going to add toughness. I'm going to add improved toughness. Sweet. Do you know what I mean? So you're an absolute monster of a wizard who punches people and does a bit of magic.
I think the only thing with those types of wizards is the one rule, I think, apart from light armor, is that you have to have some sort of staff as well.
You have to have a magic artifact. It doesn't need, you don't necessarily need to be holding it. It just needs to be on your person.
Oh, okay.
So you're fine. You really could do. You could make a martial art wizard if you wanted in this
Yeah,
game.
you could just have it in a sheath on your back.
Exactly. And then you pick martial artist, first strike, counter attack. That's a fucking cool wizard, right? This is why I think we got an email about this later. But this is why I think the Savage Pathfinder isn't too deeply mired in the fucking in the classes. You've still got that customization that you can add in if you so wanted to, or you can just stick with what you're good at. But it sort of also solves the problem of multi-classing quite handily, I feel.
They've got also a recommended tree that you could take as well if you wanted to just do that. With each, and they're really good.
So if you care more about playing the character and just want your level ups to be quick, you can do that. Now, these little class-based freebies do still keep coming, much like Pathfinder. You'll gain abilities as you level up. Monks, for example, gain key powers once they get to Seasoned, which gives them access to spells and a small pool of power points on which to spend these. Now, this does mean that monks gain key powers much, much later than they do in original Pathfinder. It was a bit of a slog, not a slog, but like trying to get to Seasoned to unlock my key powers when the D&D versions get them at level 2. Do you know what I mean?
But it feels really good. It's like the monk has ascended, you know. Like,
yeah, I know. And when I got there, it was fucking amazing.
And also, like, they do start out as being like already
really
a powerful adventurer, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's part of the fun of this brand of fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's another free, huge mechanical change to your character, in addition to all the completely open choices you make using the advancements, as we've just kind of spoken about. Now, you also have the addition of prestige edges in Savage Pathfinder. These are special, powerful edges that can only be taken once per rank. Now, I didn't know about this until I read this. So, Sean GM'd the game. We never knew about prestige edges, and they're amazing, James.
What?
They're amazing. You don't know. You never mentioned them.
I didn't put them in my game, like, but I
didn't put them in.
like between games.
I didn't put them in a game.
Didn't realise.
I was reading up on them.
You lie.
I thought you had to join certain orders or sects to get them, like.
Yeah, but then if you annoy them, you're going to be on the sects offenders register.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so
like, can you explain about prestige edges?
I will, because you don't know about them. So
I do know about them.
Yeah, you do. Go on in. You take the floor's all yours, Sean.
So these are like edges you gain while being part of an order or sect.
No.
No, what are they?
Clutching so hard.
Of an order or sect.
No, what are they? What are the...
Well, he's about to tell you.
Oh,
well, no, you
never
never
told us.
I'd like to hear
but this is cool, Sean, because now I'm telling you, so you can use it in your next Savage Pathfinder game.
cool.
It is worth noting that even though we didn't use these, it was still good.
Yeah. It's still good without them, but I feel like this is like a really special thing that would have been really nice.
Really special. No, but seriously, no, but
it was fucking great.
Honestly, though, Sean, I've talked too much. You tell us.
I don't know.
There it is.
All right, so
Finally.
an example is one called Dragon Disciple. And to take this, all you need to be is Seasoned rank.
Oh, these are the ones where you have to meet certain requirements in the world, and you have to, and then...
Well, I don't recall it saying that. Right, I'm just going to... I'll look it up. But look, I will look it up in a second. But fucking... No, in fact, I'm going to do it now. I'll cut all this silence out of the podcast.
No, it's all good. It's fine. It's all right. It's going to be good. Yeah, mate. He's actually just found it. You know what I mean? Adventure Toolkit. Control F. Prestige.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about the prestige is...
Is that a film?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Sean, unfortunately...
It's just a standard
Go
kind
on,
of...
Yeah, it doesn't really say... The difference is that one of these edges you can only take once per rank. That's it. So that's where it's different to an edge. You can only have one prestige edge per rank. So, for example, we have one called Dragon Disciple. And to take this, all you need to do is be Seasoned. So that's 5 advancements, I think. So you need to have an arcane background. That's the other requirement. And so you just be any type of caster. and you need at least a D6 in occult. So that means you've taken occult as a skill and advanced it once. And this edge means that you have dragon blood in your ancestry, which you've now discovered and fully embraced. So you now have a breath attack, a 3d6 damage breath attack no less, which can have different effect depending on which one you choose. So, fire-breathing gnomes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Sean.
Do you see how this would have unlocked?
Hey, Sean, mate, I reckon we would have fucking turned over your campaign with this shit. We would have. The amount of times I know we spoke about it, where like we get to a situation and Sean would be like, "Oh yeah, you got this," and then like we dispatch the big boss that we've got there in like fucking 2 seconds.
No, they're in.
But also, you know how some edges in Savage Worlds they have like an improved version, like improved sweep.
Can you get improved prestige edges?
You can get improved Dragon Disciple, and you level this one later, and you grow wings. So flying, fire breathing. No,
they're the ones.
Fucking hell.
They're the ones that are like 1, 2, and 3 in it. Like those.
Don't start pretending you know about it. No, like, I know about this. Just all right.
No.
Just name. Okay, look. Obviously, it's fine. Sean, it's fine if you didn't know about it, but just name one.
I know. I've thought I knew, but I didn't know. No, I do know. I sort of know. I'm gonna read the book.
I don't know, but like, it's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Now, I would say that beyond these changes, the character options are largely exactly the same as Savage Worlds core, but the addition of the class mechanics does add that Pathfinder brand of fantasy into
And
the
the
game.
race mechanics as well.
Yeah, I do speak about that later. And you've got the new races, right? Quite elegantly, they're added into the game without frustrating player freedom too much and completely changes the feel of the game. Some people found they actually disliked this change, and I can see why, because it does railroad you a little bit, but I think it's quite well done, and really appreciate the work they put in to make it feel just right. Well, I mentioned that their character options are all the same as Savage Worlds, and most of the gear is too. It's just the stuff from the medieval examples given in the core rulebook, and some of the staple adventuring gear from Pathfinder/D&D in there too.
Got a whole host of magic items, though.
That's true. The magic items are in the game, because that's not something typically that has been in many Savage Worlds things, to where usually it's like, here's this gun that will give you the use of this edge permanently, or this gun has independent power points and you can use a spell or whatever. But all of the good, unique magic items are in there. That's exactly right.
Yeah, if you get fed up of that as well, there's a table for those things.
Yes, you can generate some. Yeah. But another new rule is and this would have been good to know about, man. This is a good rule. This is a cracking rule.
Let me just read ahead. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Sean, no, why don't you tell us about the desperate attack rule?
Desperate attack. So you're low on HP.
Oh yeah. You're low on HP. Yep.
You hit and
HP.
Double dice, double.
I thought they called it.
No,
So that's just me.
Stop murmuring.
Okay, so you're low on HP in Savage Worlds.
So I'm thinking like of a desperate attack, like.
I'm thinking like no, not
just
thinking.
You tell us what you know about it.
If you know it, say it. If you don't, just say I don't know it.
Well, I might know it though, because I'm.
No, because you're trying to speculate.
No,
just bam it in.
All right, if you're low on HP,
HP.
mate, you might get hit. You might get like another dice.
Does your AC come into this at all?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it comes into it. I thought I knew. It's another thing I thought like.
No, Sean, just say I don't know.
I might know.
No, you don't. You fully don't.
So
because there's no HP or AC in Savage Worlds.
For starters, they're called wounds and toughness.
Oh yeah.
Look, Sean, it's absolutely fine. You ran Fantasy and Savage Worlds and you used the classes and races, pretty much the biggest and magic items and monsters from Pathfinder. That's fine. You just did. There's a couple of rules you didn't use and it's fine. I'm only ribbing you. It doesn't matter.
No,
we're ribbing it because...
No, it's expanding next time though, man.
I fucking hope so.
Now he knows about it. The desperate attack rule is a setting-wide maneuver that any character can use. Basically, you can choose during any attack roll to add a +2 or +4 to it, but subtract that amount from damage. So if you have a shaken enemy with relatively low toughness score, then you just need to quickly kill him before he, say, pops off a spell, activates an alarm. You can pull one of these out.
That's sick. So it's like the... what's the one that we covered right at the beginning when you gave the original Savage Worlds Worlds overview.
Wild attack.
Yeah, it's like those.
It's like that, but the difference is you're taking away from damage and adding, rather than a wild attack, you add damage, but you become less tough.
But I mean, in the mechanic of where you'd used it, that would be the point.
Similar. Yeah, absolutely. That's where you would tuck one of these in.
You guys are free to use this in the next game.
Thanks,
thanks.
mate. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
yes.
Thanks for allowing us to
James,
use the
high
rules
five
as
to that
written.
one.
Rules as written. Yes.
I'm glad. Thanks. I'm like you guys.
You're learning stuff as well. That's good. That's good.
No, it's good.
That's nice.
We're all learning.
Now the teacher becomes the teachee.
Yeah, we're the teachers now, mate.
Yeah, with a cheese,
Yeah,
the real
mate.
teachee.
Sean, did you know about legendary class mods?
Yeah. Oh no, I did. That
Right,
bit.
I've just made that up.
No, because you get to the point where that's enough.
You're thinking of prestige. You're thinking of prestige
I'm going
classes,
back to the-
which are now
yeah.
prestige edges in this game. Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
What? Right. Anyway, look, Sean, the Pathfinder, and we'll talk about it today. But so your Savage Pathfinder game is one of the best ones I've ever played. So shut up.
Thanks, mate.
Obviously, other inclusions is, as Sean mentioned, all the races from Pathfinder 2. In the Savage Worlds core book, you do have the race builder if you wanted to add these all in, which we use for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. But very few classic fantasy races are actually included within Savage Worlds. And in Savage Pathfinder, they're all there and statted for you, so they've done the work. And these come with everything you'd expect. Bonuses to certain shit, dark vision, all of that. It's nothing amazing, but it's nice to have all the classic races built up and statted for a classic fantasy game in Savage Worlds.
Yep.
For example, orcs aren't in Savage Worlds core, nor are gnomes, but they're now here. And of course, the spells called powers in Savage Worlds are somewhat different to those found in Pathfinder. I mean, all of the classic ones are there, right? But the list hasn't been updated in Savage Pathfinder to include a few new ones. In addition to this, players are encouraged, as they are in core, to name their spells and come up with a unique flavour for them.
I do love that.
Like adding elements to stuff like bolt, for example. That's important. You can't.
Bolt's one of the bread and butter spells of Savage Worlds,
But it
right?
has to have like an element. It has to be like ice.
So in the Savage Worlds core book, Sean is absolutely right there. It could be ice, it can be something else. But in Savage Worlds core, it will give examples of trappings for your spells that so that it kind of gives them for different settings. So it might say bolt is like voodoo magic, or it might say it's a technological gadget if you're playing. But in here, it gives you different archetypes for the spells that fit within Pathfinder instead. So bolt could be magic missile, or it could be, the example the book gives is that you shoot thorns out and you call it splinters, right? Your spell is splinters. And in your game, of course, the main wizard, he used cosmic magic, so all of his spells are space themed, like black holes, slinging planets at people, that type of stuff. And new spells include planar travel, which is a veteran spell where you can teleport 1d10 miles away from a place.
Yeah.
Or time stop, where you get an extra turn or more with a raise, so you still roll to cast it. You could get like up to 4 extra turns.
Oi.
Yeah, it's fucking good. Or wish, a legendary power which allows you to time travel, see the future, gain money, gain an edge, or so on. They're all very cool. And now, as Sean mentioned, we also do have the magic items, which isn't often covered in Savage Worlds. And all the items are here. Classic Pathfinder ones. You've got the Rod of Stiffness. That's a real one. That's a real one.
Get my hands around that.
Amulet of the Plains, the Jizz Gargler. That's not a real one. The Tuchus of Sniffing, that kind of thing. But it's just cool to have them all statted out for Savage Worlds. You know what I mean?
Many things is there as well.
Deck of many things, yeah, all of it's there, and it's like now been restatted. It's very nice to see. And the same goes for the bestiary too. Savage Worlds includes a number of fantasy monsters, but they're by no means large in number, so it's good. The bestiary for Pathfinder puts all the classics in there as well as a lot more, so good to have them all statted up. And more or less, I think that Savage Pathfinder is a simple, elegant, well-presented package to add Pathfinder to your game. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it allows for that high-power epic fantasy within a game system that really thrives with this kind of cool play.
No, it just does everything really well, though.
That's it. Yeah. And I've got to be honest with you, if the Savage Worlds rules were not in the book, it would be a pamphlet. But they are included then. The Savage Pathfinder is a system, right?
Yeah.
And it does make meaningful changes from core, so it's best to have it all in the same place. But yeah, so with that is more or less the book, lads. That's it.
That's just the core book as well. You got like what?
They've
There's
got
3
several
books.
they call them plot point camzanes in Savage Worlds. They've got several of those that have come out. There's
there's the companion book where you've got a whole world, the Pathfinder world,
Galarian.
the official Pathfinder. Yeah.
But the reason I didn't include that in this review is because I think in the right hands, Galarian is very good, but I think very few people actually use the setting of Pathfinder, or is that just me? I don't know.
No, you're probably right, but it's really...
You got GM screens, custom adventure cards, custom action cards, all of this shit for Savage Worlds. It's there's extra shit too.
As a box set, it's fucking well worth it.
And I think that the adventure they included was Rise of the Rune Lords. Is that right?
Yeah, and
that's like known as like the classic Pathfinder campaign module. Basically.
And it looks really good. I just don't have Rise of the Rune Lords money, but it's they got their own minis. You got bloody. You even get your own screen with that as well. The Rune Lord screen. Yeah,
a separate one. So
book as well.
Overall,
it's crazy, but
it's very good. Do you like it, Sean? What's your favourite thing about it?
Absolutely love it.
I think his favourite things is the that new edge you just learned, and
all the
legendary edges, desperate attack, classics.
Do you know I'm still learning? That's the thing. That's the thing.
That's how deep it. That's how deep it is.
Do you know? I can't wait for the advanced player companion as well. New bloody classes, new races. The Inquisitor, bloody witch. It's going to be insane.
Alchemist, they're bringing that back as well. So it's a new spellcasting class who make potions, basically, which is very easy to do within Savage Worlds. So you can make drinkable versions of spells.
Was it like
throwable versions of spells?
Yeah, it'd be sick. Because you could pass them to anyone then.
Exactly. That's it.
That's such a game-changing class. That is.
What you can do, I don't know if it'll work this way, but in Darkhold they had something similar where you would imbue crystals with stuff and you would make them. So it would use your power points, and bear in mind power points they usually recover at 1 per hour, right? So what you could do, if you were preparing for a big fight, is make, let's say for example you've got a burst spell, right? But you make a burst spell potion and make several, wait for your power points to recoup. If you've got like the big battles in 3 days, give those to a player, keep making a horde of them, and then suddenly you've got all these spells you can chuck about. The whole team just bursts in all over the place.
That would be amazing.
It'd be fucking awesome. James, your thoughts on Savage Pathfinder?
Well, I think it's obviously been completely covered in everything that has been spoken about, but from a personal perspective, I feel like it was such a good marriage, because us three sitting in this room right now played Pathfinder a lot, and we were the original gaming group years and years ago, just us three doing stuff, and we played Pathfinder for ages. It was a really, really amazing campaign, and we absolutely loved it, and we'd only play Pathfinder, nothing else ever. Then the birth of Savage Worlds came about, and we realised just how much it could do because of the system that it has. Mm-hmm. And we've played so many different Savage Worlds based campaigns, it's crazy. And if you're a long-term listener, then you would have heard about it all. But
and I don't think I've ever had a bad time in a Savage Worlds game, even some bad ones that I've played.
But none of them, I guess,
doesn't work, doesn't happen.
None of them come really close to the majesty of Pathfinder.
The sheer beauty.
I would say that the Savage Pathfinder itself as a system is, I think it's like perfection. It's particularly because my love of role playing was birthed from Pathfinder,
from epic fantasy.
Yeah. And that's my my favoured setting to be involved in.
Same.
But the campaign that Sean run, I think really, really like set it in stone for us.
Well, let's get into this then, because I did like Pathfinder, and I liked the type of world and type of fantasy that you played, right? We all did. But the thing is, it's just as the rules got more and more flabby, I fell in love with the actual playing of it less. And this basically, what it did was it made it so that the playing of that type of thing became fun again.
Yeah.
And it was that it had that mechanical complexity without being mechanically difficult to understand or difficult to play or long to resolve. And basically it was just playing this because we've been playing a bunch of stuff and all good shit, like we played Root, we played Deadlands, we played Savage Fallout, loads and loads of good shit, right? But then it was like playing, and also the last 5e campaign we played was the worst game I've ever played in my life.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
The worst campaign, yes. I was bringing in one shots into my mind, but
but actually some of the single episodes from that campaign were also worse than some of the one shots I've ever played.
Yeah, same.
It wasn't the best.
But listen, all I wanted to say was that like for a long while, right, I'd sort of gotten out of playing that brand of fantasy, and then it was like, but this came out, made it fun again to play that brand of fantasy, reminded me how much I absolutely loved that type of fantasy.
Yeah, because we nearly had to like sort of disband the group, like because of that terrible cap.
Yeah. But you know what was funny was that it was like playing that, and then I was like, I've got this shelf of stuff I've always wanted to run a campaign in, and we played MCC, and of course MCC is fucking great. But it's not fantasy, and it's not even similar to like playing D&D or whatever, really. But then I sort of was like, look, I've always wanted to do an old school Essentials campaign. I'm going to play this. And as soon as because we got up to level 6, I think, which is kind of a long time for old school Essentials. But playing it, I realised that a level 1 character and a level 5 character, let's say you create a new character now, you come into the campaign. Mechanically, they're exactly the fucking same, right?
Yeah.
If the only difference is that their hit points are higher. That's it. And if they're a wizard, they got more spells. Fair enough. But a level 1 fighter and a level 5 fighter, it's the same. And okay, in old school Essentials, by that time you have a flying mount. But what do you do in combat? You hit things. You don't have any cool maneuvers you can do. So your strategizing is all only based around moving and hitting.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, you don't get cool abilities like Dirge or whatever, innit?
Yeah, and like seeing all that kind of stuff, like it's like I do understand that 5e can get bogged down in mechanics if you don't have a group that are up to scratch with their shit on their sheet, right? And I know that a lot of players aren't, and that's why 5e can be bad to play. But it's sort of Savage Pathfinder is like it does that without getting bogged down, and there's less chance of it anyway. But I was playing old school Essentials, and I was just like, so it's really only the magic items that differentiate people mechanically. And although your characters were very good, the fights were very epic and things like this, it was just like, yeah, but what is the reward for leveling up here? More hit points. It's like, I understand if it's a very, very different game. It's much more about slow dungeon exploration and things like this. And I understand that, but it's just my brand of fantasy that I love and that I fell in love with was Pathfinder, really.
Yeah.
And old school D&D, like board games and stuff.
I really enjoyed the game itself, but maybe it ended at the right time.
Yeah, because I cut it off at 11 episodes, I think it was. And I was just like, look, I'm enjoying this, but I want something where the characters feel like capable adventurers. Do you know what I mean?
I do feel bad for pointing this out because James and I both loved it, but like we did the last episode without JT, and he didn't even ask.
He never even asked. I said this though. No, but I get it because I was enjoying playing with you guys, but I wasn't enjoying the system that much, and I get it. I totally fucking understand it. But the last session, I wanted it out of the way, to be honest with you. So we did it without one of our players.
But I feel like the actual what we achieved in the session was unreal.
It was very, very good, and all the stuff that you did and the amount of obstacles you overcame were very good. It's not like it wasn't fun.
No, maybe
it just wasn't my personal brand of fun, and
maybe we could have done it in Pathfinder. It's probably
in Savage Pathfinder would have been a better thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And thinking about it, right, was that like when we leveled up recently with the 5e one, and seeing Sean look at his book and then start doing a thing because he's got this fucking new ability that changes everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also I was just like, I chose my the arcane background, and then it was just like, I get to choose spells, and I was just like, I'll just do that during the week then.
But you were also and like seeing that passion ignited for your characters from a mechanical and strategical point of view.
But like thinking about
this, I was like, we're back. This is what I love.
Even like thinking about you, James, like trying to like balance out your spells to get like the perfect sort of spell.
Yeah, the thing
is part of the fun of it.
The thing is as well, is that, as you pointed out when you were talking about this new version of the new light brought to 5e that we're playing for at the moment, the fact that you can play it, essentially it doesn't matter, every single player could be an OP min-maxer, but that doesn't have to break the game at all.
No, it really doesn't, and I think that the characters being very powerful is part of the fun. Right?
Yeah, I think we're all
it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like them being powerful is part of the fun. And I'm not saying 5e is the best one at doing it. It's just that I think it's one of the greater options at the moment for that brand of fantasy, with Savage Pathfinder probably being the best, right?
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah.
But you have Savage Pathfinder, I don't, and I wanted to play something of that brand, and we loved 5e the last time we played it. So I was like,
yeah, it's great.
But yeah, it's sort of like playing Savage Pathfinder shed a new light on some of the books I previously absolutely fucking loved, where I was like, actually, this is pretty fucking boring.
Do you know what's funny though? Is like we started playing Pathfinder because before we were playing 4th edition.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. Yeah. Now I still do love other brands of fantasy. Like obviously DCC is very good, but what people
That's different, right?
it's different. It is an OSR game, but it does actually have mechanical depth. Especially when you talk about spells, patrons, the shit that even fighters can do that makes them mechanically interesting, and clerics and all this. It's like that is, I think, more where OSR games should be going. Not rules heavy, but mechanically interesting, but still rules light. And that's what Savage Worlds has always done. Do you know what I mean?
It's always been the same set of rules.
And it's like, genuinely has made me look at, if you look up there on that top shelf, James, I'm trying to sell a bunch of my stuff now, because that's on the top right there in the middle, where Old School Essentials is. I'm trying to sell it. Because it shed a bit of light on some of my books where I'm like, I don't think I would like this anymore. So, genuinely. But I actually thought to myself, right, that is more or less how Savage Pathfinder ruined a lot of RPGs for me. But I actually thought to myself, right, so what do I play now that's new, right? And I'm happy with this, right? But I like DCC, I like Savage Worlds, and I think I like 5e quite a lot, right? Can I really be an RPG critic on a podcast anymore if I'm playing D&D 5e and I really like it? Do you know what I mean? That's like the most basic bitch it possibly gets. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
No, because you come full circle.
It is though, but that's the point. I'm worthless.
But
that's fine.
We play those different types of games for this though, isn't it? Like, you know,
it is partially for the podcast, but also it's all like I enjoy trying out new stuff.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I'll run a shorter campaign of, say, we did with Root when the new Deadlands came out. We were all excited for it. I ran a 14 episode campaign that was pretty fucking fun. And I'm going to still try new stuff, but I was just a little bit like, sort of, when you get sort of an internal struggle. That was happening with me. I'm like, can I really just go back to playing 5e after years of saying how much I love OSI shit and finally going. But I tell you what, I do like OSI shit. I like it a lot, right? I think Warlock is a very fucking good game. DCC uses OSR. Actually, it's a mod of 3.5, but it's technically an OSR game, but it does interesting things with it. Yeah. Morgborg is the fucking same. And there's probably others that I've got. I mean, at least the Lamentations of the Flame Princess Adventures are doing very interesting stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't think Old School Essentials is, if you like BX D&D, it's like the version of it. But I don't think I like BX.
You can't really.
It's as simple as that.
DCC is good because you can't really get anything else where you're always feeling like you're on the back foot.
But in a way where you have mechanical, like actual strategic options that are outside of just I hit him.
Yeah.
That I've also DCC lends itself to really make you think a lot more about how to overcome the stuff that's like stopping you in your tracks.
Well, look at the fucking Ravenloft campaign, right? Because you played, I think it was a rogue, wasn't it? It was the butler a rogue. Oh yeah, because he was so good at sort of sneaking around the palace, and which was fucking fun anyway. But then you also had. We also had Nick with his spells, and the amount of like different and interesting uses that Levitate spell got, and Colour Spray, and Burning Hands. Burning Hands! Malevitate. But it's also you're always weighing up that strategy of, is this spell going to go off too big, or am I going to fail and get a corruption? Or even the warriors in that game with Mighty Deeds, it's like the amount of different shit they can do is very, very strategically and mechanically interesting in a way that I think that BX D&D just fucking isn't, honestly.
The whole actual play is just extremely nerve-wracking, especially when there are crowds involved.
Exactly. And like Cybersfall Classics as well is another very, very fucking good OSR game. So I still do like them. I just don't think I like the retro clones that are very, very basic. I like the ones that are doing interesting shit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like, without saying it explicitly, I would say that, for instance, DCC and its various spin-offs are...
they're the best ones.
They are the best ones, but...
Titans.
I also feel like for our group... they really, really lend themselves well to actual plays.
Yeah,
like, really, really well, because we found a way to I don't know, just get on with it and just crack on. Whereas if we have played some campaigns of it, but if we played like several of them, we may get to a point where we could maybe get a bit bored of it, but because we're playing it for a specific reason, we've never got bored of
they've
it.
been shorter.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because if you've ever played high level DCC and the way that it is completely fucking different to low level, I mean, it's insane.
We should try and do that one
Yeah.
time.
Oh, definitely.
Just
definitely.
go straight into a high level.
Yeah, I mean, we played I think we were level 4 when we did the chained coffin. That was pretty. That is a fucking cracking one. I mean, we've sort
it's
of
difficult
gone
to
on a
level up in
tangent
DCC anyway.
because dying.
But the only thing about DCC is I own DCC. It's a very good book. It's a must own. But because I've got Pathfinder, I can't really run DCC.
No, but they are very, very different. Though.
Yeah, they are.
DCC, I would say, is like it would be probably my favourite RPG. But the thing is about it is that it is just very, very different. What it does is I think it creates new rules and mechanics that are inspired by 70s and 80s role playing, but it's not just bogged down in it. Do you know what I mean? It does new stuff and interesting stuff, and that's what makes it good. And the aesthetic, the fucking spells are crazy. And this is what I'm saying. My point of all of this was that it's not that I dislike other types of games, right? I like other types of games, but it did make me hate a big portion of my RPG collection, and that's I've got you to blame for that, Sean.
What's that?
I've got you to blame for that, mate.
Yeah, you are not a tree.
No, but for example, I'm keeping Hyperborea, which literally is a clone of AD&D, but that's, again, a more mechanically interesting game, and they've added new classes into it, like 12 new classes. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we've gone on for too long. I will say this, that it was also Baldur's Gate 3 that made me realise that D&D 5e is, from a strategic point of view, very fucking enjoyable, and I've been enjoying it. But sorry, if you're a listener and you're thinking, right, now he's gone full circle, he's started hating other things, and he's playing 5e, and therefore I can't trust the word he says. Yeah, my opinion involves a lot, and if you don't want to listen anymore, I understand,
Also,
and I'm sorry.
Also,
No, but keep listening for Sean's conspiracy corner. That's
Jacko's back.
we had this already.
Jacko's back. All right.
Oh wait, are we going into conspiracy
No.
corner?
I'm just telling the listeners to stay
So
on.
we're never
for
doing
Sean.
it again after Jacko's back and that 2-pack video you showed me. All right, well that's it. I hope that elucidates why Savage Pathfinder ruined my life. And if you guys want to go, should we do some Electro letters?
I think we should.
Got some cracking ones here today.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter or parcel from anywhere on the planet. This, sir, is the Electro letter.
Dr. Reverend Sid, he says, question, do you think that Savage Pathfinder is the worst RPG ever? I think, no. And why do you think it's the worst?
Well, we just told you.
It's because it's shit, mate.
Yeah, 'cause
If they'd have put prestige edges in there,
the reason
fine.
it's the worst is because now we can't play much else.
Because it made me waste thousands of pounds. But he says, serious question, what's your opinion on the class edges in Savage Pathfinder? At first I thought they were kind of pointless, and I still kind of think that.
Kind of pointless.
Oh no.
I think the sample character progressions given in the core Savage Worlds for Pathfinder book look too much like Here's the advances you get with each level up of your character. Now I think we did chat about
We covered these, and I think they're great.
It's not with each level up. You still get customization within them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is for people that want that party-based, like role-based situation where people have their very, very set roles. But it does allow for customization between the milestone rewards you get for being a certain class. And I think if you don't like that, you don't necessarily have to use them. You could just go classless, use their magic items, the new edges, the new spells, couldn't you? But I can understand somebody not liking it. But I think it's not that rigid to the point where it ruins anything, in my opinion. I just think it adds sort of roles.
It's only every so often, and it feels really good. It does actually feel like you have a proper class, because you start out with these abilities, but then you just get these edges every so often. But then
it just depends on whether or not you like that type of role-based party. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's up to you. I mean, yeah, I can see why people think it's pointless, but I think when you realised how it's not a massive heavy touch. They've done it with quite a light touch, haven't they? But
You just get a little nuance with it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could be, like we said, just be a muscly fucking kung fu wizard if you wanted to be, and you could do that much easier within this than you could in, say, D&D 5e. Because I don't allow multi-classing in 5e because it's broken. But in this, you kind of can do that, and it's still not broken. Do you know what I mean? CJ, he says, follow up to Sid's question, the Fantasy Companion and Core for Savage Worlds have the edges that could let a character build slower from 0 to hero, eventually having the most, if not all, the powers and in the class edges. They both have a decent amount of overlap on powers and monsters as well. Since you won't be getting a Fantasy Companion series, what would you like to see in future Savage Pathfinder books?
I have noticed within the Fantasy Companion, they've got loads of classes, but it's not as tight as Pathfinder. But it's good. It's a good addition to have if you've already got Pathfinder.
It's a toolbox, though, isn't it? The Fantasy Companion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying. Like, by the point you're at veteran, you could have just taken things that are semi-equivalent to the class edges. I get that, but the difference is you get these ones are free. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. But what would you like to see in future Savage Pathfinder books? Well, they're doing the expansion, aren't they, with the new classes and
Advanced Players
monsters
Guide.
and shit like this.
Yeah.
Advanced Players Guide.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah, I just want that, honestly.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know how what they would include in there, but there's, I don't know, now know this is a racist word, but they used to call it Oriental Adventures, right? And that's where they had ninja and samurai.
Oh, I'd like that.
Now, OSE, for years, have been threatening to make the fucking Oriental book, and they haven't done it, and I've been waiting for it, where they were going to include the monk, which is missing, the ninja and samurai. I would love to see that in Savage Pathfinder, ninja and samurai, bring them back. That would be fucking great. And maybe some others. I don't know what you could do, like a warlord type class using sort of Chinese mythology, couldn't you? That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, like Ming the Merciless.
Like Ming the Merciless, like Zhang Fei.
Oh yeah,
Zhang He
from Dynasty Warriors.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But like somebody fights like that, like a warlord class.
Yeah.
Like maybe a sort of sweep adjacent thing could be what you start with. Like that would be pretty tight. But yeah, so I would like the Eastern stuff because I think that's fucking cool. James?
I was racking my brain to try and think because I know I'm not much of a DM, but I think it would be fun because, for instance, Sean likes companions and animal companions. I feel like that would be quite a nice addition if they had
a book of mounts.
If they, for instance, if they could put all the different kinds of animals and how they could be used, like as an enemy, as a friend, and all that kind of stuff.
That would be cool. See, there was a book, a third-party book that came out for D&D that's like that, but it's like Pokemon, but to make it like so that you can capture the animals, he's done a whole new.
You could tame them.
Well, yeah, it's that, but he's done whole new monsters that are all little ones, so you're not capturing goblins and dragons, but like something like that. That is a fucking cracking idea. Like, animal companions for Pathfinder. That would be that.
Like Power World, where you could get them to like
do shit for you. Yes.
Yeah.
That is an idea and a half. I think that would be fucking amazing. Just like because I know you could already do animal companions, and actually in Savage Worlds, when I played the Warhammer spin-off, I had a pet goblin called Fluffy. But yeah, I think that'd be amazing. That is such a good idea.
But like
Shane Hensley, we copyright that. You can buy it off us. How much do you want for it?
Just like $1 mil.
$1 mil.
But just like the ability to like fire your companion from a bazooka and then they explode and stuff.
Does that require a whole book or?
I mean, no, that's part of it. That's just
so the book is called
just one
new book for Savage, new Kickstarter for Pathfinder for Savage Worlds, and it comes out and it's called How to Shoot Your Friend Out of a Bazooka and Stuff.
I'd buy it.
Bazooka.
Like that's
yeah, that was an accident.
It's like those animes that like you see
Sean, this is not an
the
anime.
title.
See, I come up with a cool idea. James comes up with a cool idea. You
talk about anime. You weeb.
Your idea for for Pathfinder for Savage Worlds is that you want a bazooka that you can shoot your mate out of.
Like
you
companion.
you
could do. I could write that for you now. It'll take you 5 minutes.
You could stat it out.
That's part of it.
That's part of it. I mean, the whole book it's going to be deep.
The whole book's about animals, but
it's about animals.
It's about life, the human experience, what it means to be a man.
Like your pals in a world. Sorry.
Your pals.
Die, please. CJ has a second question. He says, I read that people ate Egyptian mummies as medicine until the late 1800s. What fantasy monster or race do you think should be sold as drugs in your game? I'm thinking ground fairy wing dust being snorted by the evil general to fly over the walls of the castle. He's pretty much nailed it, hasn't he? That's the one.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. Oh, mate, you could add, in addition to the animal fucking companion book, then you could have that, like a botanical and herbs book.
I hate to bring this up because rhetoric around modern RPGs at the moment, people always say, well, in Baldur's Gate, but I'm going to do that now. In Baldur's Gate, you have this thing called a moon lantern, and it's powered by a fairy being in it, being tortured by spikes, which is pretty fucking cool.
That's
But
quite.
it's like, help you! You've got to get me out of here. And it's like really. But then the second you decide not to let it out, it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And it's like this evil thing. So I think grinding up fairies, considering they do have that dual nature, that's fine.
That's quite. No, it's not fine. It's quite sad. But like, see, in Zelda, like the fairies, they just go in there and they're helping you. Like, why do we need spikes? You
Look,
know?
it's just what, Sean? What, like, right? A fantasy drug made out of a monster in a game. You're gonna probably go Slard, I imagine.
Well, I was just more thinking of like the sort of a bladder of something that
You
eats
snort it.
poisonous shit. And
I know.
No, but you take it as a recreational drug.
I know where
recreation.
Sean's going with this. Let me put your mind at rest. I figured it all out. There's several different kinds of slime.
yeah,
If you ingest essence of those kinds of slime, you can
Like-
get like sludgy. You get like a low thing, like a poisony one where I don't know. It sort of like messes you up.
Oh,
in a certain way.
no. Here's what you do: you get gelatinous cube, right?
Yeah.
And you filter out some of the bad stuff, just so you can coat your throat with it, and then you can eat things, so you can ingest poison or whatever, eat broken glass, and it'll just get absorbed into the acid in your throat.
Or
And that's
like-
not really a recreational drug, is it?
if you had to go to like say like a chili eating contest, you know,
That would be very handy. I
you're
mean, it's
sorted.
specific, but you know, it'd be very. I think grounded up pixies is basically the best one.
It is.
It is, other than like different types of fur that you could smoke.
Or maybe a dwarf's liver. But I don't want to be like immoral. But like,
No, but what about
imagine
like
that.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious one. But what about like scraping the sort of dust off a dragon and something like this? So like actually, cartels are keeping dragons strung
Well,
up.
dragon
and taking
scales.
taking
Grinding it's always going to be ground. It's going to be ground and compact, no matter what you're thinking of, or boiled and resin extracted.
So could,
maybe you could do dragon scales.
dragon scales. They make you they make you feel incredibly powerful, but they also make you slightly powerful. Cartels are capturing young dragons, keeping them strung up, scraping them off. It's a cool adventure.
The younger they are, the quicker their scales grow back.
There you go. Nice. That's pretty grim.
That works.
But it works.
Yeah.
That's good. Oshi, he says, how do you feel about combat encounters with little to no plot relevance? Random encounters with roaming bandits or wildlife and such, especially when in a system where experience/progression doesn't need to come from combat.
I quite enjoy it.
I don't mind it.
You're
I
in
think
a
it stirs
world.
things up.
You're in a world. Sometimes the plot is we're trying to get to this place and something gets in the way.
see, like I've been jacked a couple of times. Like I've had my phone and my wallet robbed. That wasn't part of my plot. That was just annoying.
Exactly. But it's made you who you are today. That's because you used to live in Croydon and you were getting
That's
robbed all
it.
the time. Your house got robbed once.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I think that the often random encounters aren't going to have any specific plot relevance, but there's one very, very easy way to make them relevant to the game as a whole. They don't have to necessarily be always like, oh, the big bad guys are coming after you. That's the random encounter. You can have an encounter that's none of that, but it could, if it either A, adds a plot hook into it, like something you could follow up, or B, shows you something about the world, then I think those are relevant encounters.
And also, it gives the players the opportunity to flesh out their characters a bit more, because it could be a situation that they're not used to. Therefore, they have to act differently, and
Seeing
then
what they do under pressure.
Yeah. So I think that if you use them. Well, you know, if you just bam monsters in front of people, left, right, and centre, that's going to get.
There's no
tedious.
reason for them to be there.
Yeah, if you know those kind of random encounters that don't really make sense. But recently, for a good long while now, a bunch of random encounters that we've had the privilege of playing through have been so diverse.
Well, so I got this ICRPG deck, and then I've got prompts in my notebook. And what I do is I pull a card with an image on it, and I try to make it always either have a plot hook, be relevant to the plot, or just tell you something about the world. I mean, for example, you guys were going down to the harbour to go and meet this fucking woman, and one of the random encounters I pull is about a wine merchant who's stolen one barrel of really good wine and he's put it in front of all the shit ones he's got, right? This is like Baldarian Red, and he's like, mate, I work for this wine merchant and we got to get rid of them today, so I'm selling them a really decent price. So he's going to sell you Baldarian Red much cheaper than it really should be. But actually he's selling shit wine much more expensive than it should be. And something like that, it just tells you about the city that there are people selling illegal shit on the docks and not to trust everyone. Do you know what I mean? Just something like that. And then recently you got a random encounter and I did involve the plot in it in a pretty fun way.
But it's part of it as well is that you sort of know, or maybe you're getting to know a certain part of an area.
Absolutely. I mean, even like if you look at James, I can't remember how many years it was, but when you ran your Pathfinder campaign and we went into the woods, there was these woods outside the city and we got attacked by an owl bear and some drow. Well, now we know those two things live there, and then we probably shouldn't fuck around in there. So then later on it can become plot relevant because you can go, you've got to go into those woods, and suddenly we're all like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
So
we may encounter an owlbear.
Yeah, you can make it relevant later on. Do you know what I mean? No, they don't always have to. I think with little to no plot relevance, that's when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel and somebody's just rolling completely randomly.
All right, here's a goblin that comes out of a bin or something like that.
I like that though. No, but you know what I mean. Like you just
that makes sense.
Oh, you just encounter 3 liches for no reason. But like if it tells you something about the world or the ecology of the world, that's acceptable, I think. But it's when you do too many that are just bandits. I think bandits are the bad way to go, basically, because it's always. But yeah, okay, they're bandits, fine. But it's always little bit dull. To have a random encounter with a random group of bandits that have no relevance to the plot. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, what's wrong?
No, I was just making a joke about it.
Well, because you recently fought some bandits in a non-random encounter that was a curated dungeon that I made.
I think you guys fought a few bandits in the Pathfinder campaign.
We did.
Well,
we fucking did.
Do you know what? Retrospectively, 8 out of 10.
Shit campaign.
No, but most of the random encounters in your game had relevance.
Yeah,
they did.
Because I was trying to think about it just now. I was like, no, they were all part of the story.
Because when we were flying,
they weren't just randos.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Because we were flying somewhere. I can't remember if it was like Dragon Bait. I can't remember, but we were flying somewhere and we got attacked by birds.
And when we went to the fucking laundrette.
But I think you really like. There are a lot of GMs maybe out there that scrape the bottom of the fucking barrel. Do you know what I mean? And it's literally just like, here's a monster I think is cool. Why are you fighting it in this location, even though it doesn't make sense? I don't care. Here you go, fight it. That's lazy. Do you know what I mean?
We've had a lot of
that's
that.
lazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. The next one is Genius Hero Destroyer. He says, "What's the most amount of prep you've done for a single session you've run?" And I think it's got to be con games that I've done, surely.
Oh, 1,000%. Because that makes sense.
When you do those, I tend to make really nice character sheets, put pictures on there, put descriptions, all of this stuff.
And it also depends what you're running, because if you're running something homebrew, then you need to put the time and effort into making sure using terms that have been used before for other stuff.
Make it easy for people to get
like
into.
Twists and complications and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that there's a good set of them and a good direction to...
You listening, Guy McDonald?
Yeah.
So it's got to be con, and in fact, most people, when I see them put the most effort in, is con games, because usually they're doing the amount of prep you would do for a campaign for a single session. Do you know what I mean? I think the most I've ever done was when I ran. There was it wasn't my adventure, but there was an adventure I ran, but I ported it to Solomon Kane, and it was where a bunch of Twilight is being put on as a play. But the vampires in the play are real, and they're vampiring a lot of the fans, and you have to investigate. Because I did custom character sheets. I bought minis for it. I printed off and drew some maps. I even spent ages fucking cutting out Bella and what's his name, Edward, is it? Their faces to make a custom poster for the game written in all oldie English and shit like this. So it's like they went into this teenage girl's room who's gone missing, and they find this poster, and I make props and shit like this. Did the same for my Frozen Skies game that I ran. It's always those that you put the most effort in. Sean, how about you? None of the above?
Probably some of the Fallout games, but to be honest, there was probably one Pathfinder for Savage Worlds game that because I put quite a lot of effort into all my games, so it's like I'm always sweating.
The entire you had to bring a suitcase with you to the game because you had too much stuff. But I think the entirety of the Pathfinder campaign was leading up to the final reveal session, and so that is a lot of prep, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But there was one boss fight where you guys fought like a giant polar bear. And
Sean went to the toy shop to buy a polar bear mini.
A lot of my time was spent sort of mulling over whether to spend £15 on this.
On a single. Do you know what was funny though? Was that we nearly fucked that episode, didn't we? Because we found a way around it. And
he was like, "What?"
Sean was like, but I went to Toy Barnhouse and that, man. Like, and we ended up sort of suggesting to you, look, you could still use it. What if the bad guy now sees us doing what we're doing and comes out with a giant polar bear mini?
And you were like, "Oh yeah, sick, thanks."
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It was just Sean, but in disbelief, going, "I went to Toy Barnhouse, man." Right, we do have quite a few more. We'll try to get through these a bit quicker. Mr. Mouthsores, he says, "Et rare?" That's his question with a question mark.
Yes.
Then he says, "Serious question. Solo RPGing is on the rise. Thoughts on it? And if you had to do a solo RPG, what would be your choice for game or genre?" I like solo RPGs, but they're nowhere. They don't even come close to being what playing an RPG is like. But it's like playing one of those choose your own adventure books, but with better rules,
with extra steps in it.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I did a couple of the Tunnels and Trolls ones. I thoroughly enjoyed them. If I was going to do a solo one, I don't know what system I'd use because honestly, it's not something that's in my wheelhouse.
It's got to be a different system.
Yeah,
I think.
Its own thing.
Yeah.
I'd probably say go and play Baldur's Gate 3 at that point, innit?
Do you know what? I just agree with that. Because do you know the thing is, right? If I'll just recommend some video games that are like playing an RPG with a very good GM, right? Fallout 1, the Banner Saga 1, 2, and 3, Baldur's Gate 3, Disco Elysium, Planescape Torment, all the Baldur's Gates, KOTOR. Yeah, so just play one of those, mate. I mean, because to be honest, it's like playing a tabletop RPG, as close as you're going to get on a computer, right?
And you're playing on your own.
You're playing on your own, so you don't have to worry about anyone else. You're making deep decisions for usually a group or a single character. Yeah, fucking that's it, innit? That's the system I would use, a computer. Setting, probably Forgotten Realms or Fallout. Yeah. That's a really shit answer, isn't it?
It's a good answer.
It is a good answer, I'm afraid. Sorry, mate. Cuckold the Clown, he says, what are your thoughts on the Israeli-Palestine genocide and how can RPG games help to find a solution? We'll move on from that one. Illicit Illithid, he says, how are you all doing? I hope it's well. Yeah, everyone good?
Yeah, done alright. Bit hungover today, but
keeping well.
Feel actually great.
Is there any bread-based questions? Because that
was the most fired up we've ever been. I don't care about RPGs. I care about bread. That's what I'm hoping for.
Let's get that bread.
Yeah, I'm doing alright, mate. Basically, I'm half left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. Everyone's good. Do you know how much all of us look forward to hearing you each episode, even Sean? It's a lot.
Even Sean? What are they?
Yes, that is
mate.
Well,
no.
And he spelled your name SHAWN.
Yes. Oh, even better.
My guy.
What's slag?
Do you know what's slag? Do you know what? It does touch me to know that some people. It does touch me like my uncle did to know that some people feel that way about this podcast, and this is why we continue, mate. It's for you. It's not for me. I don't like this. I never have.
Yeah, it's for us because we're the only one that listen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Even I listen.
As you've no doubt realised, I hate most RPGs now. So you know,
this podcast fucked.
But I'm glad you look forward to it, mate, and that is very nice.
Like even me, yeah.
Even Sean.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, that's a really nice thing to have.
He's saying he look forward to listening to you.
It's a shit sandwich, isn't it?
It is. But he does have a question. He says, would you rather play a session where everyone had Cheeto dust-covered fingers from start to finish, or from within the ball pit of a McDonald's? I don't know if you have those in Bongland, so I'll attach a picture. We used to, didn't we? We don't anymore. That is a hard one, though. Do you know what? I think the thing that would make me sick more, because in a ball pit, a lot of the germs are hidden. You can smell the piss, but I say the Cheeto dust. But just fucking...
In the ball pit, you can sanitize your hands throughout.
With the Cheeto dust, actually officially called Cheetle, by the way.
Why do you...
Fuck off, Sean. No? Why was that?
How do you know it's called Cheetle?
That's what it's officially called. It's called Cheetle.
By whom?
By the company.
The panda. What is he? Tiger.
Chester Cheetah.
Chester.
That's why.
He's a cheetah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense now. What are those things from Gremlins called?
Sean, why do you know so much about this?
Cheetos.
Because I like Cheetos.
Anyway,
nice.
if anyone out there wants to see a good video on YouTube, type in... Shut up. I'm trying to give a recommendation. Type in Cheeto Champ on YouTube. It's about a kid that found a really big Cheeto. So, yeah, Cheetle.
Definitely not Cheetle.
So, if you guys...
I'm living that fucking nightmare every time we play. So have you seen the state... Sure, okay, so no. I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about this.
It's fine.
No, I'm sorry about this. But recently, I did punch a drink over by accident at the table. Right, I did. And it went all over Sean's sheet, and so I rewrote up his sheet, and I got rid of his old one. And his other one, without even looking at the gin and tonic that was all over it, it was fucking horrible. I mean, it was Cheetle all over the place, mate. It was covered in fucking Cheetle, man.
And he hasn't even eaten any. His fingers are always
That's the magic of being me. But no, like, to answer the question, right? If you guys had some
every session,
every session for a summer, no, right.
Every time we end the game, I have to hoover where Sean is sat.
Yeah.
For the Americans, that's vacuum cleaning.
No, but like, my point is, right? There's some. All right. Would you rather have that dust on you from your friends, or would you rather have unknown piss and shit from a ball pit? So I'll take the Cheetle.
I think the unknown, because I could come home and wash my clothes. And in fact, I've been in a scenario like that where we were at a con. And I won't explain why, but there was a slide there, and we went down it, and it turned out somebody had a piss in there. Now the sad thing is this was a detour from from sort of my main holiday for going to see my mum, right? So I only packed a single pair of clothes because I knew I was only there for 3 days, right? And I wanted to fill up my bag with RPGs. So my jeans got soaked in piss instantly. You went and changed yours, James, but then I was just like, I've got to wear these piss jeans for 3 days. I just sprayed them with loads of deodorant, hoping it would disinfect it or something. It's fucking horrible. But no, actually, the Cheetle makes me feel a bit sick. So I would go to ball pit, yeah.
Yeah, because
I did pay.
He's talking about having the dust on your fingers for the whole time.
That is fucking...
I mean, that would be that would be so nasty.
The Sean's sheets, they're always as chocolate.
But Sean lives like
Cheetle. Yeah, he does. That's to be fair. Yeah, he does.
That's the only reason he's growing his beard out. So when he goes, when he wipes his hand on his beard, it starts to take the Cheetle off
That's
his
nature's
fingers.
napkin right there, mate. Fucking, to be fair though, that spilt gin and tonic couldn't have made that floor any worse.
Is there anything
cleaner?
Is there anything better than either pizza Cheetos or flaming hot Cheetos? Like, not really.
Full sex with a woman?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd like, what you don't have, you
Full
don't
sex
miss.
with a man?
Sean is a gay lord, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen. He's the lord of them, which shows how badly that community's doing. Dr. Mumson, he says you finally have your copy of Weird Frontiers. Don't bring that up, mate. That hurts. What's your verdict? So, for those that don't know, I waited for like 9 years to get my fucking copy of Weird Frontiers, then had a bit of an argument with the guy that made it, and then we settled it amicably where he said that he would send me a print-on-demand code. It's been 2 years, I still yet to have that code. I'm never going to play Weird Frontiers, because even if it comes out now, it's going to be worse than what I...
Because that was a backing that he didn't correctly provide, right?
Well, yeah, he didn't, but it came to it and it was 90 quid for postage, right? That's what it was. And I was saying, not only was it woefully mismanaged, but I find out 3 years later that I need to pay another 90 fucking quid. It's not going to happen. So badly managed. But you know what? On a related note, DCC, Joseph Goodman, if you're listening, can you stop fucking trying to take money out of my account for DCC Dying Earth, please? I'm not paying it. It's got an old card on my Kickstarter thing, and every day I get 3 emails saying your payment for Dying Earth did not go through. I'm never fucking paying it.
I think there's...
Don't stop asking me, Goodman Games, please. It's not happening. I don't want it anymore.
I need to bite my tongue now, because there's a joke in there somewhere.
God. Just say
There's no time to buy.
Just give us some hints here about the joke.
I mean, it's not really... I mean, it's just really a Jewish joke, really, because...
Sure.
But...
What is wrong with you? When have we ever said racist humour on this show?
I mean, loads, but
Like, all the time, like
Oi,
several
you're really
times.
pissing me off, man.
Several times this episode, really, but
When have I been racist?
all the time.
What are you talking about? You're going to make jokes about Jewish... You know they're the one that you don't go after, out of all of them.
Yeah, I suppose.
Go
yeah.
take a piss out of one of the white ones.
But I'm Polish, though, so like you know.
it's worse.
Yeah, that's definitely worse. Fucking clean James's car, for goodness sake.
with chili sauce with it.
I'm sure my
Right, anyway, that's the racism. Mumson does have a serious question. He says, how could you make a duel, as in I challenge you to a duel, different and more interesting in a regular combat scenario?
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
That was so quick.
Yes, mate. Have you seen that with that?
Beyblade.
Have you seen that video of the guy who's playing Yu-Gi-Oh in VR and he just keeps on pulling cards and just talking like he's in Yu-Gi-Oh, but he's not actually following the rules. The other guy's like having a brain hemorrhage because the first guy's just like, I play Pot of Greed, allowing me to play 2 more cards, and the other guy's like, I don't know, that's not how it went. It's like a real scenario that's happening. I'm just imagining that. Duels. So instead of just rolling off against each other, then having a fight, right? A duel. I think Savage Worlds does a really good one, and I think there needs to be a mod made to it. But in Deadlands, essentially what it is, if I recall correctly, the main thing is that the DM starts drawing. Each person gets cards, and they're called hold cards, right? Then the GM starts drawing some down on the table until one player shouts stop. And then they fire first, but they have to have a better poker hand than the other player. So it's about building up a poker hand until you think you've got one that they can't beat, which is kind of cool, but it does require express knowledge of poker hand.
Which none of us really have.
Well, I do.
You had to learn it, though, for the games.
More or less. But the thing is that you didn't, and you were probably the only person who did a duel when we played Deadlands.
Yeah,
so you just
so that
waited
was
for
fine.
all of the river cards to come out and then just went, right, who's got the better hand? And that was it.
Yeah.
But they are very exciting, and you kind of have to roll to see who the crowd saw shoot first as well, so that who gets arrested, and you have to make a better poker hand. It's kind of cool.
Is that the last time we did a duel?
It's the last time in Deadlands. Also, fucking DCC has pretty good rules for magical duels, which are kind of cool. Like the shit you see in Harry Potter, where there's 2 spells or 2 Kamehamehas flaming off against each other.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Although Joseph Goodman did say that he wrote the rules in an afternoon, and he's not sure they're very balanced or good, but they are fun. I'll give it that. That is basically it. What was the joke you're going to make about Jewish people then? Because I'm not even sure Joseph Goodman is Jewish, Sean.
He's Jewish.
Just
No, he
'cause
must
of his
be-
name.
Yeah, he must be Jewish.
I mean, no, that's profiling.
Let's look
now.
this up. Let's look.
Racial profiling. Sean, he's just a man.
Who?
Joseph Goodman, he's just a bloke.
Oh,
He's just American.
Can we cut out? No. Can we cut out the Jewish bits then?
But what were you going to say?
I forgot. All right. Sort of,
You can't say forgot.
Sort of
That's a slur as well.
sort of
Against your own people.
It's a whole hornet's nest of racism going on here.
Yeah, it's horrible. Let's go into the outro, shall we?
Yeah.
Right, that's -1. That's -2. -3.
It's been nice.
It's just been good getting back together again.
No, it's been good.
I've
It's
enjoyed
like I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, there was so much to catch
No,
up on, despite the fact we see each other
been
like
great.
once a week, sometimes the pub. Yeah, well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. It's been good. The next one that's coming up, we're going to be reviewing the Monty Python RPG. Spoiler, it's as shit as I thought it would be. And, yeah.
And I still don't have the hardback copy, even though it was meant to be delivered October last year.
And you need the dice catapult as well, that's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I paid an extra £9 for it.
Yeah.
But I actually would say that I'm really happy that we did this particular episode. Even though it took the piss out of Sean because he should have done it.
I just felt like the need to explain myself
I
and also finally get around to that fucking review. That CJ, let's be honest, he's given us some stuff. He's basically paid us to do a review.
He's a beautiful man.
Couldn't be bothered.
He's a beautiful man, but
He is.
like you know, he really should have.
He really should have sent more, because that's what would have made me review it. All right. I like Savage Pathfinder, but not that fucking much.
You know, like he's got a problem with trains, but he's a good guy.
Stop referencing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas every time we spoke about just CJ. That wasn't funny the first time you did it.
Sean finds himself so funny.
He's laughing so much.
He is
right now.
so beside himself.
Then he's got quiet laugh.
That was great.
Because remember when we first spoke about CJ when he sent us some goodies, and Sean was like, he's probably doing that mission with Big Smoke right now.
Fucking.
That was funny. Come on.
Yeah, that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just enjoy a joke, you know. I
just enjoy a good joke. So anyway, Jews. About that.
No, I love Jews.
Yeah.
Orange
Apple
juice.
juice. Fucking hell.
Alright, if you want to contact us, 3trpgpod@gmail.com. Also buy our products on Drive-Thru RPG, 3TRPG Publishing. So if you give one of those, buy one of those, it gives us a little tip, and also you get little products with it for free.
Yeah, and go
You're buying it.
find the Discord server if you're not on it already.
We've got the permanent link.
I'm never on it.
We've got the permanent link in the fucking
Description.
I couldn't remember what it's called. So just click on that and get involved in the Discord. There's a lot of really nice people.
The people are nice. I'm not on it, so and I'm not nice. So
that's why you're not.
Yeah,
I had to ban him.
Yeah,
For
in the bum.
Yep.
Ben Stiller, good guy.
What?
Why is that? What are you talking about now?
He's Jewish, isn't he?
He's trying to claw it back because he was about to make a joke about Jewish people.
Seth Rogen.
Just
Sean.
Right, Sean. Sean, just right. Here's what I'm going to do. Right? No, we need to make sure this is equal. You've been horrible to the people of the Jewish faith, who, let's be honest, have had a hard time recently.
It's right.
So no, you're going to have to insult all the other races. Say what's wrong with them. French. Just cut one word. French.
Bit like. I mean, I don't really like. I don't like. I'm put on the spot here. I can't just like. You just can't.
Romanians.
They remain.
Right.
No, I don't know.
You're supposed to say something funny. Come on, I'm throwing you a ball here. Right, Germans.
Like sort of like I mean, I don't know because like you know anything from like 1939 to 1945 I'm not sure about. But
there we go. Why does it always come back to the Holocaust with you? You're a fucking prick. We're stopping the podcast. Goodbye, everyone. I've been Harrison Hunt.
I've been James Clark.
I don't think you should be saying goodbye,
No,
Sean.
goodbye.
I don't think you've earned it.
Love.
Get out.
Much love.
Get out.
He's actually standing.
I need the loo.
He's just going.
I need the loo.
He's running away.
We're still going.
Sure, not only were you racist,
night.
but you've walked away from your mind.
No, I haven't.
Fuck off. Go away.
Right, Sean, you can leave.
Go away into your racist area.
Right. Wait a second, just in case we need a different outro. If you choose to.
I'm keeping that one in.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not me, is it?
No,
he's the one that's messed up. That's all staying in.
Irina, it's all Sean's fault.
Yep. He's always hated them. You don't know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah,
I
no.
could be talking about anything.
Just them.
Have you had a good time?
I'll tell you what, it was really nice. And I'm glad that. It was good to get back into the fucking.
Special fucking bumper episode here, mate. We've got about 2.5 hours.
That's amazing.
Alright, well, it's your birthday later, so we'll celebrate later on.
Yes.
That you're starting at 4 o'clock for some fucking reason.
I just thought it'd be quite nice to sort of get together and.
Is it going until late?
Yeah.
Alright.
Just to chill out. Like,
I thought that what you were doing was you were starting at 4 and then we would have to go home at 8 or something.
No, fuck that.
Alright. Sweet. Oh, he's back. Right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.